Honorable members, let us pray. Almighty God, we humbly beseech thee to look with favor upon this Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. Grant that it may perform its high duty as in thy sight. Give divine guidance to the President of the Republic. Endow members of Parliament and ministers of state with discernment and vision, integrity and courage, that through the labors of government, this land and people may be well and truly served, and their good purposes for the common human life be realized in our midst. O God, grant us a vision of our country, fair as it might be, a country of righteousness, where none shall wrong his neighbor, a country of plenty, where evil and poverty shall be done away with, a country of brotherhood, where all success shall be founded on service and honor shall be given to the deserving, a country of peace, where government shall rest on the will of the people and the love for the common good. Bless the efforts of those who struggle to make this vision a living reality. Inspire and strengthen our people, that they may give time, thought, and sacrifice to speed the day of the coming beauty of Ghana and Africa. Amen. Honorable members, we'll take item 5, correction of votes and proceedings and official reports. We'll start with the correction of votes and proceedings of Tuesday, 11th November 2025. Page 1. Page 2. Page 3. Page 4. Page 5. Page 6. Page 7. Yes, Honorable.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, with respect, let me bring your attention to item 5 under the page in review, 5B, line 2. Speaker, I submit that after Ahanta West, instead of municipality, we delete municipality and replace same with constituency. Speaker, on grounds that if you look at for consistency's sake, every visitor to the house, we benchmark it against the constituency they are coming from. Thank you.
Honorable Member, we are dealing with the minutes of what took place on the Friday, on the Tuesday, 11th November. And that was what actually took place. The name that was submitted to me was Ahanta West Municipal. In my pronunciation, I stated Ahanta West Municipality. That was what happened. And I think that's what has been captured.
Speaker, respectfully, not to litigate, my point is that for consistency's sake, if you look at all other visitors, the reference point has always been constituency. So if we could replace the municipality with constituency, because these assembly persons, arguably, they represent, they work at the various district or municipal assemblies. But in this house, the one who represents them is on the ticket of a constituency. But everything stops with you, Speaker. This is my prayer.
No,
if he finds favors with you.
Everything doesn't stop with me. It's who sponsored them here. They came and submitted that they came under the authority of the assembly, not constituency. And that is what they submitted through the officers to me. And so that's what we will capture. By the time you realize, it's the assembly that sponsored them to come. And that will be under the district or municipality. And that is what we captured. If it is the MP, and you are the MP who sponsored them to be here, and you want to take advantage that is under your authority, say so. Then we can look at it, and maybe when it comes to the official reports, we'll try to capture that. But this is what happened on the Tuesday, and that's what has been captured by the clerks at the table. So let's proceed on that. Page 8. Page 9. Page 10. Page 11. Page 12. Page 13. Page 14. Page 15. Page 16. Page 17. Page 18. Page 19. Honorable members, in the absence of any correction, the votes and proceedings of the 13th sitting, dated Tuesday, 11th November 2025, are adopted as the true record of proceedings. No official report. Honorable members, I don't have any copy of the official report, so we'll proceed to the next item. Yes, Honorable Deputy Minority Whip.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise under Order 67-2. Mr. Speaker, Order 67-2 state that the order of business set out in the order paper may, by the leave of the Speaker, be varied. Mr. Speaker, I rise to appeal so that you vary the order of business, then we can move to statements on, that is item 7 on page 3 of today's order paper. And Mr. Speaker, if your leave is granted under Order 67-2, then the Minority Chief Whip will now be fortified under Order 93-1. And Mr. Speaker, Order 93-1, with your leave, I read Order 93-1. By the indulgence of the House and the leave of a Speaker, a member may explain a matter of personal nature or make a statement on a matter of urgent public importance. Mr. Speaker, I so submit as there is an urgent public matter that the Majority Chief Whip wishes to make. Thank you.
The leave is granted. Yes, sorry, Majority Leader.
Right, Honorable Speaker. There has been some discussion between the two sides, and this request is supported by the majority, except to say that the discussion is to the effect that both sides will make a statement on that subject matter. And so when the leave is granted, it should be granted so that both sides of the House will be granted leave to make statements on the same subject matter. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Leave is granted for the, you said the Majority Chief Whip, Minority Chief Whip. You can proceed to make the statement.
Speaker, I am humbled and grateful for the leave granted, and I thank leadership for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, it is with deep concern and sorrow that I make this important statement. To recognize the impact of the tragic incident that has been reported in our media space just this morning, the death of some 6 potential recruits for the Ghana Armed Forces, which took place at the Airworks Sports Stadium in Accra. Speaker, indeed, as has been confirmed by the Ghana Armed Forces in its press statement issued this morning, we have all been caused to recline to mourning. Our heavy hearts go out to the families of those victims, including the several others who have been injured on various levels of severity and receiving treatment. Speaker, at the hearing of this news, I thought of the words of Shakespeare in The Tempest when he said, Quote, we are such staff as dreams are made on, and our little life is rounded with a sleep. Unquote. These victims were once among thousands of Ghanaians waiting for the opportunity to join the Ghana Armed Forces, but met their fate in such an unfortunate event. This is no small matter to shelve, and has concerned and indeed affected leaders. We must move to restore hope in our people, even in the time of grief. Speaker, the grief heightened when other reports came indicating that the death toll was now at least 12 persons. It then came clearly to me that we must act immediately to resolve the risks associated with such recruitment process which have lingered too long a time. I resolved to make this important call as first step to immediately suspend the recruitment process for the time. We also must urgently ensure that the process be decentralized or further decentralized to address the excessively large crowds as well as the other risks faced by people traveling various parts of the country. As an arm of government, we urgently need the Deputy Minister for Defense, under the circumstance, to come to the House and brief the people on what alternative measures will be employed to deal with such risks. Speaker, this is not merely a tragic accident. It is a profound and systemic failure and the indictment of a system that has lost its effectiveness. This sad news from LWAC is a definite wake-up call. It is a direct summons to the Ghana Armed Forces, the Ministry of Defense, and the nation at large. The question is no longer about protocol or procedure. It is about humanity and leadership. Speaker, in the spirit of patriotism and the begging need to honor those bold, hopeful victims whose spirits led them only to the brink of true service to their nation, Ghana, we must review the existing practice relating to this recruitment. Let us bear in mind that a greater blow to our nation will be the day that men and women refuse to enlist because of the many challenges the service agencies' recruitments are plagued with. Speaker, in conclusion, my call is simple and devoid of ill will to any agency of the state, but rather an advocacy for the teeming youth who will today or tomorrow be faced with the same risks. Let it not be said that we looked on with heavy heart and folded our arms. I'm grateful, Mr. Speaker.
Difficult time. I also acknowledge the efforts of the Ghana Armed Forces, the Ghana Police Service, the National Ambulance Service, and the dedicated medical professionals who responded quickly to the emergency and worked tirelessly to save many more lives. Mr. Speaker, we cannot treat this as an isolated incident. There must be a full-scale investigation into the circumstances surrounding the tragedy, from crowd management and planning to logistics and coordination. We must establish accountability and ensure that the systemic failures that led to this incident are decisively addressed. If anyone slept on their job, they must be sanctioned accordingly. The findings, Mr. Speaker, of this investigation should guide immediate and practical reforms in the recruitment processes of our security institutions. Mr. Speaker, it is time to rethink the centralized mode of conducting these recruitment exercises. The days of assembling thousands of young applicants in a single venue must end. We must further decentralize the process and adopt a data-driven, technology-enabled system that allows applicants to be screened and processed in batches across various regions. This approach will enhance transparency, efficiency, and more importantly, safety, while preserving the dignity of our young people. Finally, Mr. Speaker, this tragedy must awaken our collective conscience. As a nation, it calls for a renewed commitment to creating decent and sustainable jobs for our young people, so that the desperation does not push them into unsafe situations. Let this not be another headline that fades away, Mr. Speaker. Let it be a turning point that compels us to act responsibly, humanely, and with urgency towards our young citizens. Mr. Speaker, I humbly call on you to direct the relevant committees of Parliament to look into this tragedy. May the souls of the departed rest in perfect peace, and may our nation learn and rise stronger from this painful loss. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honourable Member.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to have a bite on these statements ably made by members in this House. First by Honourable Anodom Prayer, and that of my brother Edem Agbana. I also add my voice to console parents who have lost their lovely ones at this moment unexpectedly, and also the injured. May the good Lord heal them fast for us. Mr. Speaker, I'm sure it's good to put things on record. I was just monitoring the news, and I can be on authority that at 37 Military Hospital, the officer in charge is confirming that it's about 6 lives lost and 12 in critical condition, and by the grace of God, they are responding to treatment. And then instead of the 12 lives that people are thinking it is. So let's have the records well done that way. And to also indicate that ideally they have decentralized, because I just called one of the officers I know. The figures are about Elwak alone, 22,000 young people looking for the job here. Tamaliv, 5,000 people. When you get to the Bono and Ahafo combined, 8,000. So in totality, that's Manos Bunu East. So in totality, about 50,000 youthful, able-bodied men looking for non-existing jobs. This also tells us as if, as a country, we have not been fair to the youth. Let's think of that direction, Mr. Speaker. 55,000 people looking for jobs. It means they have not been in employment, and that is what it means.
Honourable members.
So, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable member.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Please.
Yes,
please,
Mr. Speaker.
Please.
Thank you.
Please, we operate within our rules. The standing orders don't permit what we are saying now. Please. This is a statement. Yesterday, I used a term, and many of you reacted privately. I used a term, confirmation bias. Before I allowed the commentary, I read the rules of the House to you. You have all ignored the rules. And what you have in your heads, you are telling us, which are not in the letter or spirit of the rules. Even my son, Honorable Agbena, also decided to tell us what he has already got, not according to the rules. I stated clearly that when a statement is read, the rest that follow are comments. But you also started reading a statement. Now, those comments are not to provoke debate. They are to be restricted to facts. Commentary on statements should not generate debate. So you don't talk about things that are controversial. Please, the rules are clear on this. And I told you it should not be more than 5 minutes. It should not exceed, the word used is exceed 5 minutes. So please, wind up.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm guided, I'm grateful. And so, Mr. Speaker, by this, I add my voice to console the bereaved families and to also wish those who are injured well. I'm grateful, Mr. Speaker, for your guidance. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Thank you for the opportunity to add my voice to what one of the makers of the statement termed as a national tragedy. Indeed, it is a national tragedy, and I wish to sincerely thank the makers of this statement. Mr. Speaker, either two, recruitment or all those wanting to be recruited into the Ghana Armed Forces gathered at Elwak, it became necessary for us to decentralize the whole process. And in fact, the very first time I heard of the decentralization of the process, I thought that finally we had nailed, we had gotten it right. But here we are with the same problem facing the country. One of the makers of the statement said that this is a turning point for this country to do things right. Mr. Speaker, indeed, it is the turning point for us to do things right. I believe that all of us must put our shoulders to the wheel. We cannot continue to see our sons and daughters who want to serve this country go or perish this way. It is rather a sad story. Mr. Speaker, I am a father, and if my son or a daughter wanting to serve this country by wearing the uniform perish this way, Mr. Speaker, that definitely will break me down. We all need to come together as a house to support not only the Ghana Armed Forces, but any recruiting agency or institution, so that we will never come to terms or we will never face a situation like this again. Just yesterday, a report was released on the perishing of our dear ones through a plane crash. Today, it is a different story. Mr. Speaker, we don't know what will happen tomorrow. But I believe sincerely that if we, all of us, put our shoulders to the wheel, we will find a lasting solution to this problem. It is indeed a national tragedy that we will never want to see again. And the only way we can never see again is when we come together to find a lasting solution. Mr. Speaker, with these few words, let me thank the makers of this statement for the wonderful peace given to us. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for giving me the opportunity to comment on the statement ably made by our two colleagues. Mr. Speaker, I would like to also express profound sorrow at the deaths of 6 of our compatriots who went to the Elwak Stadium this morning in order that they could be selected to join our armed forces. Mr. Speaker, that said, I would want to quickly commend the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, President Mahama, for swiftly responding to the crisis by visiting the wounded at the 37 Military Hospital this morning. In fact, Mr. Speaker, the President did not only visit 37 Military Hospital to commiserate with the families of the deceased and also to console the wounded, he immediately ordered that the process be halted at the Elwak Stadium. And so I want to assure the majority whip, who in his statement called for minority whip, sorry, Mr. Speaker, minority whip, who in his statement called for the halting of the process to pave the way for investigations. Mr. Speaker, that has already been done. And so as we speak, there is no recruitment exercise ongoing at the Elwak Sports Stadium. Mr. Speaker, the maker of the statement, the minority whip, also alluded to the fact that there is need for further decentralization. I just want to place on record, Mr. Speaker, that for a very long time, the recruitment process was centralized. It took the intervention of this government to revert back to the old system of having the process decentralized. Mr. Speaker,
Honorable member, factually, you are incorrect. Factually, you are incorrect.
Mr. Speaker, my take is that for a long time, the decentralized character of recruitment had been shelved, and that it was in recent times, under this particular dispensation, the decision to revert back to the old system came into being.
Honorable member, make comments. Don't raise issues that are debatable. Let's comment and move on.
Mr. Speaker, I take a cue. Mr. Speaker, let me further touch on another issue which has to do with the crowds that poured out at the various recruitment centers. And I ask myself, why would this happen even when the process has been heavily decentralized to the extent that today, as we speak, across all the regional capitals, the same exercise is ongoing? I ask myself that question. Mr. Speaker, could it be that since 2021, the military did not advertise for recruitment, and that once the adverts were made this time around, a lot of the youth who are unemployed thought that this is an opportunity to at least put themselves up for recruitment? Because since 2021, we haven't had the situation whereby the whole process was advertised in a transparent manner and people asked to report at the various training centers for recruitment. That is a question I ask. Be that as it may, Mr. Speaker, I support the calls for this matter to be thoroughly investigated in order to ensure that we don't have a future reoccurrence of the tragedy that happened today. I thank you for the opportunity, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Dominic Netiwu.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, let me take this opportunity to sincerely sympathize with the families of the people who lost their lives in these tragic circumstances where young people indeed went out there to look for a job for themselves, only to find themselves lying in the mortuary. The last thing we can do is to politicize their deaths. It's very, very painful, because if you're a family member, you'll be very sad to see somebody trying to do politics with this. So I will not, and I don't expect any member to do that. But, Mr. Speaker, the military had never, not under my watch, or under Kumbo or Woyogo, or Kandapa or Adukufo, or any of the ministers of defense in the past, deviated from what they are currently doing. They had always gone to the regional capitals to do exactly what they are doing now. Never. We did that in 2017, 2021, we did the same thing. At no point did the military deviate from that exercise. I just wanted to make that correction. It's always been the same thing. There are two forms of getting people into the military. The officers is called enlistment, and the recruit is called recruitment. The current system is recruitment. And every year, we enlist people into the military. That's the officer call. But for the recruitment, once people apply and they have qualified, you don't want to waste the time of the Ghanaian youth again to every year be applying only to collect money from them. You never want to do that. So sometimes you do it biennially, or sometimes you can even do it every year if they are there. Mr. Speaker, as we say today, I can tell you that over 10 to 20,000 young people applied and are qualified. Meanwhile, the military is going to take only 4,000 people. This current recruitment, just 4,000. The Accra Center alone has more than 5,000 people. That is the difficulty that we face.
Honorable member, this one, I can tell you are speculating. Let's move away from that.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I know what I'm talking about.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker, but that's the truth. But if you, I'll seek your guidance, but that's the truth. But Mr. Speaker, I am saying that I will support the call to hold the process, not just at LWAC, but the entire recruitment process. To really look at the exercise and give ourselves some time, Mr. Speaker, to find out what is happening. That's the first thing I would suggest. Mr. Speaker, the second thing, so that the military can reform, because we have not seen this for a long time. We get bruises, people, but to get people to die and we just continue as if nothing has happened is not good. So I will support that call. Mr. Speaker, I would also support the call that the acting Minister for Defense, and Mr. Speaker, I'm choosing my words well, not the Deputy Minister, the acting Minister for Defense should come and brief this House. Not just on only this isolated issue. This is a very serious matter, but not just on this. When the incident in Obuasi happened and we lost 7 to 8 lives, the minister never came here to brief the House. 2, even when the most unfortunate incident happened and the minister lost his life, Mr. Speaker, I don't remember that they came to brief you and this House on the incident. But now that the report is out, I think that they should combine all this and come and brief the House properly on these 3 things. The Obuasi incident, the issue of what has just happened today, and the military Z9 headquarters incident. They should brief this House properly so that they'll tell us what is happening. Then we can be seized as representatives of the people, what is going on. Mr. Speaker, I say this with a heavy heart because I just left that ministry after spending 8 years. God being gracious to me, things like this didn't happen under my watch. It's the will of God. It's not by me. But it's by the grace. And so I will urge the minister to come. Mr. Speaker, if you do remember, when soldiers went to war, young soldiers reported in war, and the following day they went out brutalizing people, I came to this House to brief the House. I came to make a statement. I came to brief the House, and I came to tell the House exactly what was happening. In fact, when the punishment and whatever we did was done, I came back to brief this House again. So, Mr. Speaker, there is precedence. There's precedence.
Yeah, majority, just a minute. Majority Leader, I'm really watching the timing. So please, yes.
Mr. Speaker, when we met this morning at conclave, the minority came to lobby that they had a statement on the incident. And I indicated to them that the ministry had plans to come and brief the House. But they insisted on us varying the order of business so that they could make the statement. So, Mr. Speaker, if we had been patient, we would have actually received the minister at statement time to make the statement even before these statements were made. So I want to assure him that the acting Minister for Defense, that's the Minister for Finance, is on his way here to come and make a statement to this House. So please exercise a little patience, and very soon the Acting Minister for Defense will be in this House.
Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, lately we have been receiving a lot of tutorials from the respected Majority Leader, tutorials on rules of this House. Mr. Speaker, with respect, I submit most humbly that what he just did was not a point of order. Mr. Speaker, when the leader of the House himself chooses convenience over principle, it becomes worrying. It is becoming very convenient that the leader of the House is very intolerant of views that are expressed by this side of the House, and he finds ways to come through a supposed point of order and even issue threats. Mr. Speaker, this must stop. As and when it pleases the Majority Leader, he uses the rules to stop people from expressing their opinion. Mr. Speaker, this is House of Parliament. We do not have any problem at all if the strict practice is that rules. It will be an opportunity for us to learn and learn. But he who comes to equity must do equity. He must do equity. Enough of this, Mr. Speaker, and I humbly beg that if he is talking about rules, he himself should practice it. What is happening, Mr. Speaker, in this House is amounting to the Majority Leader using the back door to introduce a certain culture of silence, to silence the views of the minority. That is what he's doing, so that he would intervene to stop your thought pattern and have his way, instead of patiently waiting for his time to make his own views known. This must stop. It must all come from the leader of the House.
Yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, it is obvious that the Minority Leader has issues. He has issues. And I think, like the Speaker said last week, when we were discussing football, somebody jumps to discuss Ampi. Mr. Speaker, if you go and review the cameras, you will see that your deputy whip at the beginning walked to me here and came and pleaded with me that I should allow him to vary the order of business so that Anodompré would make the statement. He came here and pleaded with me. He came here and pleaded with me. The cameras bear testimony. The cameras bear testimony. Mr. Speaker, at that point, if I wanted to silence the minority, I would have told him that I will not allow you to vary the order of business because the minister is coming here. I would have opposed the application for the variation.
Honorable Member, what are you doing? What are you doing? Please, you can heckle a colleague, but you don't use your hand and be clapping and doing this and that. That is noise. You can't do that. I have.
And
I
what
was,
are you doing? And what are you doing?
Please. You started today on a very good note, calling on us to work together. Please. The Honorable MP in blue dress spoke very well here. I got a response over there calling on us and all Ghanaians to work together. Meanwhile, you yourself seated here cannot work together. Differences is natural. It depends on how you express the difference. What you do here is you try to persuade. You don't persuade a person by shouting at the person. You don't. You have to use a voice modulated in a way, the tone, the words, how you express it to convince the person. You only do that when you go to boys or girls. But you are here. You are not only talking to your colleague here. You are talking to the whole country and the nation. Why? We are faced with a very sad occasion. And again, it's not words, actions. Let the Ghanaian people see that really is shocking. You are sad, and that you want to do something about it. This is not an issue you use for politics at all. Please. The Speaker should not participate in debate, but the Speaker is not among the three monkeys. See no evil, speak no evil, hear no evil. That is not the role of a speaker. The national interest prevails, and how to protect it. You know it, that part of our rules talk about interruption of debate. Go through it in the standing orders. One of them is the point of order. Read it yourselves. It goes beyond point of order. When you have information and you want to share, at the time a member is talking, you are also allowed to interrupt. Please, let's continue to cooperate and let the good people of Ghana know that we are truly representing them, not parties. Honorable Dominic Nitiwul, you may go on now.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. Mr. Speaker, I thank you, and I thank the leadership. I'm treading a very fine line because I just left the place. And you know that the military is a very disciplined institution. And I would have wished and prayed that this didn't happen to the military. But unfortunately, we are where we are now. And so I'm treading cautiously. And as you also know, most of my predecessors have not had the opportunity to sit in Parliament after leaving that office. So they virtually kept quiet. So I have to always juggle between and mind how I carry myself because of the position that I held. So, Mr. Speaker, I say, and I still repeat, that I support the position that we should hold the whole process and review it. 2, I also think that the minister should come and brief us. And I'm happy he said he's briefed Latin, but I said that if he briefed us on the 3 key things that happened, it would have helped us. Especially the report that just came. It would have helped the nation and all of us, because we are representing the people. Once they brief Parliament, we have briefed the nation. And thirdly, the other security agencies who also do recruitment. It's not just the military. They have also started advertising. And their numbers are even bigger than that of the military. And so we anticipate that the problems that we are seeing today, if the Minister for Defense and the Minister for the Interior do not sit to see how they can make sure that they reform the process, we may be getting worse situations, and we don't want that to be repeated. So I'll urge both ministers to look at how they will go about their intakes, Mr. Speaker, so that we don't get this repetition of issues any longer. And lastly, Mr. Speaker, this only tells us that we have a big problem in the country. Yes. A problem of unemployment. Big problem. And Mr. Speaker, the earlier the political class plus the leaders of this nation do something about it, the better for us. Because if young men all across the world, it's difficult to get people to serve in the military. People in US, people literally had to be begged to serve in many militaries. And today, young men and women are all rushing just because they want to serve in the military. I don't know whether it's for job purposes they are doing that or it's just the love of serving in the military. That is happening. But I will lean towards the fact that people want to survive. People want a job. And Mr. Speaker, I can say that we have a big problem of unemployment. And these teeming youth who are outside, between the ages of 21 when they have completed school and 25, if we don't do something about them, Mr. Speaker, this nation called Ghana, we may regret one day. I don't know when, but I can say that it's easier or it is better for the political class to think together. And I like the way you said we should work together. We should work together and find a solution to it immediately. Otherwise, Mr. Speaker, we may regret. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, a female voice.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to comment on the statement ably made by my colleagues. Mr. Speaker, I wish to first of all express my condolences to the bereaved families. It is really, really very painful to have our children to go for recruitment only for us to lose them. But I want us to all take solace in the Almighty Allah. There is nothing that happens that doesn't happen at the right time. This is what the Almighty Allah has ordained for them. Today is their day. No matter how, no matter what, no matter who was there, as what, even if we brought all the presidents of the world to sit there as ministers or whatsoever, once today is ordained for them to die, they will. And this is what has happened. Unless you don't believe in the oneness of God, unless you don't believe in the oneness of the Almighty Allah, it is not anybody who wanted them to die. There is no single officer there who wanted even one single soul to pass. Not even one person hoped and prayed that one person would die there. Let us understand that. If that were the wish of anybody, I haven't seen or thought of that person. Mr. Speaker, I appreciate what you have said. Let us work together. If there are mistakes, let us look into it. I've heard one of my colleagues saying that there are other recruitments to come on. Yes, that is true. It's a very big lesson, and we use the problems that have occurred or the mistakes that would have taken place, and we correct ourselves and forge ahead. We are sitting here, and most probably we might be talking and looking at it politically, with a political lens, but who knows those who have passed? Who knows whether they voted for NDC, MPP, PNC, or even they never voted. But here we are worried. We are not happy because we didn't wish them and we never thought of that. So let us be conscious of that. Let me appreciate the President, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, for putting a halt to the activity at the Elwak Stadium. Mr. Speaker, I wish to suggest that whether now or in the future, decentralization should be properly done. It could even be done by districts, not regions, by districts. And if we can go down to the grassroots, it can even be by constituency. After all, they are all Ghanaians and they are our people. Rather than let people travel maybe from Pusiga to Accra, the Elwak Stadium, only to come and then die when nobody ever dreamt of it. So, Mr. Speaker, I wish to call on all of us to stay united and then to talk and to note that we are a representative of everybody and not one particular person. And that when something like this happens, we should fight together, forge ahead, look at the best that will lead us on our way forward. I thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Who is senior? The two of you, who is senior? The two of you, who is senior? You are senior. Yeah, we'll come to you, don't worry. You want to yield to him?
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this special opportunity.
Sorry, just a minute. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I think I need your guidance in this matter. In the course of the contributions members are making, they have sought information from government on what is to be done, what shouldn't be done, what measures should be implemented, and etc. Given that the minister responsible now for defense is in the House, I want to find out whether after we have commented on the statement, if the minister now comes and makes a statement, if leave is granted by your good self, whether we will again be commenting on the statements that has been made by the minister, or that it may be convenient at this stage for us to permit the minister to now make the official statement that members have been calling for, after which we can then take on board any information that the minister may be giving us, so that we take on board those pieces of information and then continue with the contribution. But that's just guidance I'm seeking from you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Will the, Minority Leader.
Speaker, with respect. Mr. Speaker, what we are doing now is guided by Order 93. Now, if the minister chooses to come before us, he comes here under Order 91. There is no such estoppel rule that would operate against comments by members under Order 93. If the Honorable Minister comes to this House to make a statement, which statement will be regulated by 91, the rule permits under 91(4) for members of this House to make comments. So, Mr. Speaker, with respect and in all humility, I do not think that there is anything at all for your guidance to be sought on. The majority leader, most respectfully, must allow the chair to guide proceedings under the rules that have been invoked for now. If the minister later comes to say he has something to say, nothing stops the minister. And that one would also be guided by a different rule. But to say that he wants to find out whether if the minister comes and says something, members will be permitted to make comment. Mr. Speaker, that would be another speculation that the rules would not permit. So, Mr. Speaker, I beg of the majority leader to allow proceedings to go on without any interruption. I so submit, sir.
Honorable members, it's for the reasons that the minority leader has just adduced that I wanted clarification. Whether he was going to make the statement as a minister or as a member of the House. As the minority leader stated, they come under two different standing orders. And if he's making it as a minister, definitely Order 91 will apply. If he's making it as a member, then Order 93 will apply. And 91.2 says, honorable members, please we need your attention. This is an important matter. Are you vexed or you are leaving the premises? You are leaving. Honorable member. Honorable members, Order 91.2 says a minister of state may make a statement of government policy, and the statement shall A, be limited to facts which are necessary to be made known to the House, and B, not contain matters that are likely to provoke debate. But if it is statement by a member, because the statement has already been made by a member, what he will be allowed to do as a member is to comment on that statement. And that will be limited to what? Not exceeding 5 minutes. But if he's making the statement as a minister, it's not limited to the 5 minutes, but it will be limited by the A and B. But for comments, the same for members with regard to statement by minister or statement by a member. It's the same. In such a way, you make a statement in such a way that it doesn't provoke debate and it also does not exceed the 5 minutes on both occasions. So that's why I wanted to know, are you going to make the statement as a minister or as a member?
Mr. Speaker, he will make the statement as a minister.
Now, if he's going to make the statement as a minister of state, and that comes under Order 91, and it is on the same subject, I will then allow him to make that statement. Then we now continue with the comments by members. He may disclose some facts which may be necessary to be known by the House, and that will guide members in their comments. So the minister may do so now.
Right Honorable Speaker, I come before you this morning, this afternoon, to inform the House.
Just a minute. My attention has been drawn to the presence of some deaconess with us, and they have another commitment. And so let me just recognize their presence. And by doing so, the other visitors, just two groups. We have Deaconess Mary Ampa leading a group of women referred to as area women leaders from Shefi Juaboso. They come from the church Yes, they come from the Church of Pentecost. They are 54 in number. Please, on behalf of the House, I warmly welcome you to Parliament. You have a lot of your members here. The Church of Pentecost has a lot of members as members of Parliament. So we thank you for producing so many members for the Parliament of Ghana. You are welcome. Please listen, watch their behavior, and help me to manage them. Thank you so much. You are warmly welcome. Resume your seats. We also have one Daniel Bahuli, and he's leading a group from Ningo Prampram as the executive director. And the group is, in fact, is written in French. Le Passerelle Global Ghana. There are 96 in number. You are also warmly welcome. Bienvenue. I'm sure they are studying French. And please, you get opportunity here to teach the members of Parliament French. Many of them here are completely illiterate when it comes to French. I am in basic school of the French language, so at least I understand something. You are welcome, and you may resume your seats. Now, Minister, you may present your statement.
Speaker call. Mr. Speaker.
Just a minute. He's pointing, drawing my attention to something. Yes.
Speaker, in the spirit of strictly going by the rules, Speaker, if you may, Order 91, already we have been told by the majority leader that the minister is coming under Order 91. And Speaker, if I may read Order 91, it says, the Speaker may make statement on any matter of interest to the House. Order 91.2. A Minister of State may make a statement of government policy. Government policy. And the statement shall, and it goes on and on. Is it the case that our acting Minister for Defense,
Honourable Member, you are completely out of order. Why? Oh, God. I read the same standing orders, and I referred to the same issues. Drew his attention to that. Please, Now you are repeating and asking questions. Why? Oh, it meant that, please, you know how this thing originated. Your leader was not at the conclave, but you were present. You came with the statement to me at the lobby. And because of the emergency involved, we decided to admit it so that you can make it today. You insisted to vary the order of the business. That was conceded to. And that is why the majority leader even raised the issue that even if we're taking the business according to how it's captured on the order paper, the minister would have been available at the time the statement would have been made. But we varied the order of the business, and it was made earlier than questions. And so the minister was not available, and that the minister will be coming to make the statement. It is under this. But why I said you are out of order is that I have already done what you are doing. And I drew his attention before the majority leader got up to say, yes, he's coming to make a statement as a minister, not as a member of parliament. And so I permitted him to do so, guided by the Standing Order 91-2. Please, you are my very good friend. Sometimes you are caught up by the pressure from behind you.
I remain your very good friend. And yes, you have taught us in this house the need for all of us to aspire to learn. And I was asking question for clarity.
You are speaking to me,
yes,
not to him. And it's not time for questions and answers. And so that's why I say you are out of order. Please.
Speaker, I'm guided.
If these questions, we have to admit them. And the answers will have to come, depending on whether it's oral or written. The rules are clear on that. Then we can allow you to go on. Minister, please make your statement.
Right Honorable Speaker, I come before you today to inform the House of a tragic incident that occurred this morning at the Elwak Military Sports Facility during the ongoing recruitment exercise of the Ghana Armed Forces. Mr. Speaker, the Ghana Armed Forces announced recruitment and enlistment processes about a month ago. Mr. Speaker, the application process closed last Friday, 7th November 2025. All potential applicants were duly notified to appear at their chosen regional recruitment centers for documentation verification today. Right Honorable Speaker, and this was for them to go through body selection. Mr. Speaker, this year's recruitment exercise is being conducted simultaneously across all regions. Indeed, it was a system designed to decentralize the process, reduce congestion, ensure transparency and fairness, as well as to ensure accessibility nationwide. Unfortunately, despite these measures, a stampede occurred at the Elwak facility in Accra. I regret to report that there were 34 persons who were direct casualties, some of whom are potential recruits, and others, Mr. Speaker, unfortunately, are not related to the enlistment at all. Mr. Speaker, out of these 34 casualties, 6 persons have been confirmed dead. Mr. Speaker, 5 are critical, and as we speak, they are the ICU. Right Honorable Speaker, 12 are fairly critical. Mr. Speaker, the rest are stable and under observation. Additionally, there is a reported case of one person hospitalized at the Kumasi Recruitment Center. though that incident is unrelated to the stampede in Accra. Mr. Speaker, in light of this development, the Ministry of Defense has halted the recruitment process in Accra until further notice. I wish to assure honorable members that in all other regions, the exercise is progressing smoothly and without incident. Right, Honorable Speaker, the Ministry of Defense deeply mourns the loss of life and extend condolences to the affected families. We are working closely with the Ghana Armed Forces, medical teams, and law enforcement agencies to provide full support to the injured and to investigate the circumstances that led to this tragedy. Mr. Speaker, as a result, the Ghana Armed Forces has instituted an internal board of inquiry to investigate the causes of this unfortunate incident. Right, Honorable Speaker, the safety and dignity of applicants remains paramount, and the ministry will take every step necessary to prevent reoccurrence of this matter. Mr. Speaker, I so submit.
Honorable members, we will continue with the comments, and I had earlier on recognized him, so he will be the first to have.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, first and foremost, we'd like to express my sympathies to the bereaved families and also to the Ghana Armed Forces for such an event. Mr. Speaker, I believe that a lot of us have spoken on this matter, and I believe that it is time that our planning processes change for the recruitment of our young men into the national and the Ghana Armed Forces. Mr. Speaker, this is not the first time we've heard of stampedes for this recruitment, and this one is a turning point. Mr. Speaker, I believe that, like Honorable Puziga said, it is time that we decentralize to the grassroots, all the way to the constituencies. Mr. Speaker, this business of registration, all are new, all the time, should also stop. I believe that when people get into the system and they are qualified, we should have a gradual process of recruiting them over time. There's no point, Mr. Speaker, putting over 10,000 people or 5,000 people at a point, at just one point. There's no point. We can do it over a week and do, say, 1,000 at a time, 1,000 at a time, 1,000 at a time. Because when you put so many people together, even the potential for disease transmission is also very high. So even though we are there to actually recruit people, we actually be transmitting diseases to other persons. And I believe that it is time that we go back to the drawing board, relook at the whole system, and make sure that the recruitment we are doing into the Ghana Armed Forces do not look or seem as if we are punishing our young people. I mean, why is it that people want to serve these Ghana Armed Forces or the police, whatever, are always put under pressure? They are young people. We should let them know that they have a duty to serve this country. And when they want to serve, we should not be punishing them. Mr. Speaker, this also goes further to the issue about decent jobs for our young people. If over 30,000 people are trying to get into the Ghana Armed Forces, which might have just about 4,000 or 3,000 spaces per time, per year, then it shows that there's a critical need to address the issue of employment. Mr. Speaker, I've looked at the statistics before. If you take the number of young people that go to school and end up in government positions, it's just about 5%. So clearly, we should know that the plan A Ghanaians should be looking at all the time consistently should be about the private sector and entrepreneurship. Unfortunately, we tend to be educating our young people when they get to universities and start telling them that start looking to do something for yourself. I believe that it is time that we start doing that education right from primary school, so that by the time they get into secondary school, they've accustomed to the idea of doing something for themselves. Because the Ghana government cannot and can never employ everybody under the system. Mr. Speaker, I know that during the last election, the NDC, for instance, promised 24-hour economy, 1 job, 3 shifts, and 3 people. So people were looking up to the opportunity of getting employment. The MPP at that time also promised 4 million jobs for the young people.
Make
Mr.
sure
Speaker, I'm not debating.
Don't generate debate, because where
I'm
you
not
are going,
generating debate. I was talking about decent jobs.
Honorable member, you have to listen to me in silence.
Yes, please.
I'm just drawing your attention not to go beyond the line, to raise issues that will generate debate. Very simple guidance. You may go on.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for the guidance. Mr. Speaker, the issue of decent jobs are issues that we need to address. And naturally, Mr. Speaker, there might be alternative views and alternative positions to that matter. But I wanted to draw the attention of the House to the fact that we need to work together, sit down together, and agree that if we are working with, say, 24-hour economy or the 4 million jobs position that the MPP said, how can we sit down and say, where do we draw the lines and where do we fix it so that we can give opportunities to our young people to work? Because, Mr. Speaker, when more young people work, it increases the productivity of this country. It generates jobs and it creates prosperity for all Ghanaians. Because when money moves around, wealth is generated. So we should find new ways of making sure that every young person is occupied. Because if we don't get them occupied, and always looking at one side, military, police, whatever, and they're also not getting their jobs in those places, Mr. Speaker, this stampede will continue to be problematic for us. We know that the recruitment of the Ghana into the Ghana Armed Forces or the police have always generated a lot of debate, even in this House. Sometimes we talk about political recruitment. Sometimes people think that the protocol they need to get, they've not gotten it. Somebody at the constituency think that this person has gone, I have not gone. No military person has actually happened in my house. Mr. Speaker, it creates a lot of frustration for our young people in this country. And I believe that since we are seeing this as a turning point, I would like to request the President to take the bull by the horn, since he is the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. In the same way he has taken matters and stopped the work, he should also take responsibility for what has happened today and make sure that it doesn't happen again in this country. With these few words, Mr. Speaker, I try to support the makers of the statement for this wonderful position, and our sympathies to the families.
Please, the health dimension.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to comment on this statement. First of all, I would want to congratulate the makers of this statement and also to extend my heartfelt sympathies to the families involved. It's a very painful one, and I ask that we depoliticize this situation as much as possible. First of all, Mr. Speaker, I'm extremely disappointed in the armed forces. This is an entity, I think they failed in their risk assessment. They failed in their risk assessment. Mr. Speaker, you can choose to let people go, but when it comes to the security agencies, I don't think that we can let them go off risk assessment. They would have to let us know the implications and what they did before, because, Mr. Speaker, there's a surge, especially after elections. And therefore, what were they anticipating and what measures did they put in place? I'm happy also to hear that the other regions are going on very well. And therefore, it means that, Mr. Speaker, we should know the way forward going with regards to these issues of screening. Now, I think that Ghana Armed Forces also failed to do what we call a public health need assessment for what they were going to do. I doubt if the Ministry of Health, or for that matter, the Ghana Health Service, have anything to do with this, because you are going to a field on a course that borders on public health issues, and I doubt if they have some sort of partnership with them. Mr. Speaker, again, in the House, when it gets to even budget, the quasi hospitals, Mr. Speaker, your committees, clearly we don't have a part to even assess the health institutions under these agencies. And very often than not, the health committee has a mandate to take care of all health institutions. But because these are quasis, today if you ask for a briefing on the situation of the health status of those who are admitted, it will have to come from the Minister of Defense, who is not so strong at the issues of health. So, Mr. Speaker, I think your committee must be able to update you on this issue. And there again, maybe the president, who is the commander-in-chief, may have to appoint a substantive minister of defense. Our very good friend here is acting defense and finance. But we can't have one ministry, a casualty at the start of the year, and then also along the way. I mean, it's one too much for everybody. So probably this is the best time for the commander-in-chief to bring a defense minister. I humbly submit to the acting defense minister that, Minister, maybe in the compensation measure, we may want to look at the families involved graciously. There's nothing that you do that would appease them, but there is a way to get families have a sense of belonging and government being there for them. For those who died, for those who had some injuries, if there's a way that you can see them through and have a family to have some sort of replacement, the good people of this country will be extremely grateful. So, Mr. Speaker, I'll be very happy if the Minister of Defense will let us know in the other regions going forward what sort of measures are in place, that if any of this should happen at that places, and there is hope for the Ghanaian. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to add some comments to the statement ably made by my three colleagues, the Honorable Acting Minister of Defense, Honorable Dr. Atuban Fossen, Honorable Adam Bana, and then Honorable Minority Whip, Honorable Anodompre. Mr. Speaker, I also want to thank the Majority Leader and Leader of Government Business for varying or agreeing to vary the business of the day to incorporate this very important statement from the other side of the House. That demonstrates good leadership. It brings our democracy to another level, and it shows how important we are taking this issue that happened at Elwak in this House. Mr. Speaker, I want to plead that let the optics be right. Let the Ghanaian people out there see that we are mourning, and all of us are sad in our hearts. I was so sad when the heckling was gradually becoming noisy. And Mr. Speaker, thank you for bringing us back on track. We are mourning, and we should demonstrate to the Ghanaian people that we are very sad, and this should never happen again. Right, Honorable Speaker, let me convey my condolences to the bereaved families. Lives so young and lost too quickly. It is very sad. 9 p.m. yesterday night, people were at the Elwak Sports Stadium, hoping and praying that this morning they will be attended to, and their dream is to wear the green uniform to serve Mother Ghana. What happened is quite unfortunate. Mr. Speaker, changing crowd behavior over the years is worth studying. In the year 1990, if you have 10,000 people who have gathered for recruitment, and there are other opportunities available, their behavior would definitely be different from 2025, when you have over 22,000 people at a particular point, and they are so desperate, and not believing that if they don't get this opportunity, there's anything anywhere for them. So I am saying, Mr. Speaker, that what happened at Elwak, we may blame everybody, blame ourselves, but the truth is that it has happened already. What are we learning from this incident? What can we learn? Decentralization for recruitment is very good. But, Mr. Speaker, as I tell you, if you look at the history, the police has a better record. The last time the police recruited, if you go to the police training school, over 4,000 people were handled in a day. How was it happening? At 6 o'clock, 500 people were invited. 8 o'clock in the morning, another 500. Within 2-hour interval, people were invited on a daily basis. Gradually, you can deal with 2,000 people in a day without seeing a crowd. These are all best practices that we need to learn. And with the inclusion of technology, I am quite sure this is not a very difficult thing to do. We are all surprised that the crowd surged and became very violent to the point that they lost control, and we lost these 6 people. Mr. Speaker, I want to plead, and I thank the Minister for Defense, the Acting Minister for Defense, for halting the process in Accra. Let's caution all other commanders in the other recruitment centers that they should learn from what happened in Accra and ensure that the exercise becomes successful across the country. But what happened in Accra, as much as we are halting it, we appreciate it and we support the move, and gradually we will learn from best practices, and this recruitment exercise will still be very smooth. The numbers that are coming in the other security sector should not threaten us, because this is the best practice that we are learning, and I'm sure that when the police begin, or when the immigration starts, or when fire service comes on board, or when the prisons are recruiting, we will not see anything of this nature. With these few comments, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you for the opportunity.
Honorable members, I had to permit the Minister for Finance to go and try to complete the finishing touches for the budget for tomorrow. So if you saw him leave, he has left with my permission. I will take one more, and then we can proceed to do other business. Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I am very grateful. Mr. Speaker, I rise to comment on this statement as a young Ghanaian. Mr. Speaker, as a young man that is seeing the challenges that is confronting this country. Mr. Speaker, as a tenterhook that we are sitting on as a country. And Mr. Speaker, to also join in professing some challenges, some solutions to the challenges that are bedeviling us. Mr. Speaker, these young Ghanaians left their various houses with some dreams. Mr. Speaker, the dream of serving their nation. But this dream, Mr. Speaker, ended up taking their lives. Their hopes were lost, and their dreams, Mr. Speaker, were shattered. Speaker, this is as a result of some recruitment failures we have all looked upon from time immemorial. Successive governments, Mr. Speaker, not just one government, successive governments. Mr. Speaker, you will be surprised how every young man, as soon as they complete secondary school, Mr. the only thing they are looking forward to is to join the Ghana Armed Forces, join police, or join National Fire Service, or immigration. Mr. Speaker, this is as a result of security of jobs and the unavailability of jobs that are facing the young people of this country. Mr. Speaker, if it will surprise you to know that year in, year out, about 20 of thousands of Ghanaians buy forms only for the services to recruit less than 1,000, 2,000, or 3,000. About 5 or 10% of these Ghanaians, Mr. Speaker, yet they queue in their numbers, go through frustration in this country, all in the name of serving their good people or serving their country. Mr. Speaker, it is time that we look at our processes. Mr. Speaker, we must, as a country, begin to look at a comprehensive digitization system that will help us recruit our young men without allowing them to go and queue every year like we are seeing. Mr. Speaker, some of these processes can be digitized so that we will reduce the hardship, the burden, the frustration that our young people go through. Mr. Speaker, again, we must look at how opportunities are distributed for our good people in this country. Mr. Speaker, we may all shy away from the truth. But, Mr. Speaker, even out of the 20,000 people that are queuing there, the services are taking less than 3,000, 4,000. Well, the figures, I may be wrong. But, Mr. Speaker, even inherent in that figures, there are opportunities that are given to some Ghanaians, and some Ghanaians are also not having some of these opportunities. Mr. Speaker, that is how we must look at this situation. How we will distribute opportunities equitable to every Ghanaian in this country. Mr. Speaker, one of the speakers of this, or the makers of the statement, my good friend, Edem Agbana, the Speaker, called for accountability. The Speaker, I am not just looking at accountability. Speaker, I'm looking at an overhaul of the opportunities that we manage in this country. Let us look at an overhaul system so that we may not, because we've seen some of these processes. And the sad part of this is that all the people that are confirmed dead, the Speaker, are females. Young Ghanaian women that want to serve. And we are today mourning the loss of innocent souls. I don't know how the families will be compensated, because the people or the family members that are going out there to give them hopes ended up losing and losing the hopes. The Speaker, I will crave and beg that we apply some tactfulness, some deep thinking in how we recruit, how we give opportunities to our young people in this country, and we look at how the system will be managed without repeating some of this chaos we do repeat every successive year when we are recruiting. So that, Mr. Speaker, in future, our young people would want to serve with pride and dignity without losing their lives or without ending these dreams and hopes that they have. Mr. Speaker, with these few words, I want to commend the maker of the statement for the urgent need or the urgent timing that you brought the statement. Honorable Frank Abna Nodompre and my good friend Edem Agbana, and the minister as well for swiftly responding to this matter. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, you all know that this is one of the most respected institutions of state, and the leaders and personnel of the Ministry of Defense have constantly been rated above parliamentarians when it comes to trust of the people. So this is an institution that we revere. And in fact, my own story shows that because of my reverence and the commitment to serve, in 1977, I went there for enlistment, not recruitment. Enlistment. Honorable members, please, may I have your ears? I went there for enlistment. That time, we were not looking for employment. It was not looking for employment. We're going to serve as men. There are no women in the military. They are all men. And it was so smooth at that time. I was deselected. Yes, and they told me why I was deselected before I proceeded to the university. So this is an opportunity for us to rethink about the whole process of enlistment, recruitment, employment in the public service. We have a serious challenge. We have to confront it head on. As a result of that, even when I was offered the opportunity to be Minister for Defense, I declined. I declined that offer. His Excellency, the current president, was present. That time he was vice president. He was president when I was offered. I declined for good reason. So please, this is an institution that we all revere. And it's because of them that we are all protected. You know what they do. They decide not to sleep like the police so that we can sleep. It's not an easy job. So please, even though some measures have been taken, I will direct our committee to follow up on the process. And then also emphasize what others have said for us to expedite the process of appointing a substantive minister. It's not because the current minister acting is not capable, but we know the pressures on him. And so we need to have somebody who will come with full report and look at some of the issues you've raised. What prevents this country from having a continuous recruitment or enlistment process? We don't have to wait and do it once every year or sometimes 2 years so that you can accumulate so many people and they have to rush to try and get recognition and end up not living. So please, it's something that with your support, the Committee on Defense and Interior, please follow up on this matter. And later on, leaders, you can program and schedule a date for us to get the committee and the minister to give us a full brief on it. And we will share information because it's something that is already being debated by civil society, and there are a lot of proposals. They will give us the reasons why those proposals cannot be implemented. We can all work together and find a solution to this problem. If not, the future may even be more terrifying than what we've experienced today. So I want to, on behalf of the House, humbly convey the deepest condolences to the parents and families of the deceased. The House prays for the speedy healing and recovery of the injured. And we will also sympathize with the Ministry of Defense and call on the leadership to have cool hearts to handle this matter. And we thank sincerely the health personnel, together with the ambulance service and all those that have rushed to at least attend to the injured and the deceased. Please, I want leadership to accompany me so that we can visit the injured. I'm told they are at the 37 Military Hospital, so that the House will go and see what the situation is, and together we may discuss later what to do next. With this, I want to call on you for us to stand at least in a minute's silence for the souls of our departed patrons. Honorable members, may the souls of this our young and patriotic sons and daughters, and those of all the faithful departed, rest in perfect peace. Amen. Yes, Majority Leader. I wanted to vary the order of business again and to let us take some items before I lead the leadership to the hospital. My Deputy Speaker will take over the chair and continue with the rest, but there's a matter that he wanted to present. And so I wanted to grant him that opportunity. But Majority Leader, you are on your feet.
I don't know if your plan to vary the business is to take what I'm hoping we would, which is the order paper addendum. Wanted to lay the report of the Appointments Committee on the nomination of Justice Paul Bafo Boni, which is item number 1 on the order paper addendum.
Yes, Minority Friend Bench.
Mr. Speaker, we had a meeting and the understanding was that the paper be laid today so that we take the report tomorrow. So, Mr. Speaker, to the extent that that is being pursued, I am not opposed to saying.
Well, I was not part of the discussion, but I thought tomorrow will be too busy. And if you are minded, this is a serious matter too. You could take it on Friday, not tomorrow. Why do you want to take it tomorrow?
Mr. Speaker, I don't mind Friday. I don't mind the Friday.
Mr. Speaker, we want to take it tomorrow. We've discussed among ourselves and we have agreed that we should take it tomorrow. This side is ready to take it tomorrow. So I urge you, Mr. Speaker, to allow us to take it tomorrow.
Honorable members, then we may need to vary the commencement of sitting tomorrow. Because if we are to start sitting at 2, the budget alone could take not less than 2 hours. Some take more than that. And if you want us to start in the morning, what time? 11, 12? It depends on how long you want to. You prefer 12 noon? Yes, Majority Leader, yes.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, I think 12 noon should do. 12 noon should do.
Is that consensus?
I think leadership should further engage on this matter because there was an earlier communication which has also informed the scheduling of other meetings of various caucuses. We, for instance, have scheduled a meeting at 11 where we got a prior notification that tomorrow's presentation will start at 2. I'm also aware business committee has been scheduled at midday. So, Leader, if you are aware of these, we should take that into consideration. because that communication came out earlier that the presentation would be at 2. Yes.
So you should go find
But you cannot decide on your own. You have to consult us.
Mr. Speaker, it works for us. We can shift the business committee meeting to an earlier time. We always engage to agree on the time for business committee sitting. The clerks consult us. So because we're a smaller number, it's easier to shift it to an earlier time. So, Mr. Speaker, we'll take the report on the nomination tomorrow, and then we can also take the budget statement tomorrow.
Honorable members, the understanding is that 12 noon, we will take the motion, which is about, the paper is about to be laid, and then 2, we take the budget statement. The rest, leadership will discuss and fix the rest of the items for tomorrow. Yes, please.
Mr. Speaker, I think that matter is settled. Mr. Speaker, I can see that you did indicate that you might leave us to 37. And I wanted to draw your attention to motion 14 on today's order paper, which you need to preside. And I humbly request, if it will please you, that you still occupy the chair whilst I do the needful, Mr. Speaker.
I have drawn the attention of the First Deputy Speaker as to the items to handle. We did that at conclave, and so that's what he will be handling until I return. I only say leadership will go with us, not everybody. It's leadership. And in this case, majority leader, minority leader, chief whips, my good self, I think that should be sufficient. We don't need a large team to go there. The clerk may join us because you are the boss of the service, so you should represent the service. I'm told that the gender is not represented. And so I will hazard an opinion that we add 2 ladies, 2 honorable ladies, 1 from each side of the House, in spite of your numbers. Who are the seniors? The seniors, I can identify plenty of seniors. Now, which of the seniors? I cannot see Abina. Well, I leave that to leaders. Please, leaders, decide the ladies so that we go with them too.
Yes, Deputy Majority Leader. Do we go back to item number 6?
Mr. Speaker, we're looking at item number 6 now, the questions. The minister is here.
Yes.
So we want the minister to come and answer the questions.
Honourable members, Minister for Roads and Highways is scheduled to respond to some questions. He's been sitting for some time. May I humbly ask him to take the designated seat? Honourable members, the minister is seated. And we have the first question. Standing in the name of Honourable Member for Akan, Honourable Yao Gomado. Honourable, you have the floor.
Speaker, I stand on Order 88.3 with the prior authorization of the member concerned to seek your leave in order to ask the question that has been advertised, Speaker.
Please do.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. To ask the Minister for Roads and Highways whether the ministry has plans to construct a bridge over River Asokoko to serve Dodi Bethel and Dodi Amanfrom. Thank you.
Yes, Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, River Asokoko is in the KGB district of the Oti region and has a span of over 70 meters. Dodi Bethel and then Dodi Amanfrom are among the number of communities separated by the Asokoko River. Current program, Mr. Speaker, there is no contract for construction of the Asokoko Bridge currently. Future programs, detailed engineering design and geotechnical studies to determine an appropriate crossing point has been carried out, and cost estimates submitted for consideration in the 2026 budget upon availability of funds, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable Member, any supplementary question?
No, Speaker, except to ask the minister to expedite processes to have the bridge constructed.
Thank you very much, Honourable Member. Honourable members, we move to question number 474 for same minister, standing in the name of Kobena Boating, Member of Parliament for Ejisu. Honourable Member, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to ask the Minister of Roads and Highways about the current state of the Kokobra, Ochirikrom, Echem, Achiase roads in the Ejoso constituency, and when work will resume to complete the road. Thank you.
Yes, Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the Kokobra, Achirikrom, Achem to Achansi Road is a connector road located within the Ashanti region, serving communities in the Ejisu municipality and Bosontwi district areas. Current program. The road was awarded under the contract titled Rehabilitation of Ebrim, Antwa, Bonre Road, 10.38 kilometers, and Critical Access Roads, Kokobra, Achirikrom, Achim, and Achansi, 17.3 kilometers, for execution and completion in 24 months. The contract commenced on the 28th of June 2024 for completion by 27th of June 2026. The progress of work is currently at 49.3%. The contractor is currently not on site due to delay in payment for works done. Efforts are being made to get the contractor back to site to complete the outstanding works. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable Member, that is the answer. Any supplementary question?
Mr. Speaker, respectfully, yes. Mr. Mr. Speaker, may I know the name of the contractor in respect of the road in issue?
Yes, honourable member.
Mr. Speaker, the name of the contractor is Kofi Job.
Any further question?
Mr. Speaker, there will be none except to reiterate the plight of the people to the Minister for a timeous intervention. Thank you.
Very well. Honourable member, this is constituency-specific question. We move to question number 383. Standing in the name of Samuel Awuku, Member of Parliament of Kwapim North.
Right Honourable Speaker, I rise to ask the Minister for Roads and Highways when the road from Latte Junction to Latte Township will be completed, as well as the inner roads within the Latte Township. Thank you.
Yes, Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the Latte Junction, Latte Township Road is a key route located in the eastern region, connecting the Latte community to the main Manfi, Koforidua Road, National Route 4. Current program. The road was awarded under the contract titled Rehabilitation of Manfi, Latte Junction, Latte Road, 6.2 kilometers, and Access Roads, 2.35 kilometers, and Latte Town, 5.1 kilometers, total 13.65 kilometers, for execution and completion in 24 calendar months. The project commenced on the 5th of November 2024 for completion by 4th of November 2026. The progress of work is currently 45%. The contractor suspended works due to delay in payment for works done, but has indicated his willingness to mobilize back to site by December 2025. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable member, any follow-up question?
Mr. Speaker, that will be all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We move to question number 357, standing in the name of Maswell Lukuto.
Mr. Speaker, I rise on order 92, which says where a question is admitted, the member may withdraw that question by leave of the Speaker. So I seek your leave to withdraw the question.
Honourable member, leave is hereby granted. Accordingly, the question is withdrawn.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Question number 384, standing in the name of Mr. Kwame Apia Kodua, Member of Parliament for Fantiakwa North. Honourable member, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I seek to ask the Minister for Roads and Highways when the Begro Township Road will continue after the contractor left site. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, Begro is the capital of Fantiakwa North District in the Eastern Region. Current program. The town roads were awarded under a contract titled Reconstruction of Mpraiso, Oyimso, and roads, 47 kilometers, and upgrading of Begro Fayasi Road, 1 kilometer, for execution and completion by within 42 calendar months. The progress of work is currently 68%. The contractor is currently on site and actively working on the Mpraiso to Onyinamso section. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Remember, any supplementary question?
Rightly so, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, with respect, the contract title mentioned by the Minister is not the Begro Township Road. I think I have done some work about the road. The Begro Township Road is different from the contract title of roads that the Minister mentioned, to the best of my knowledge, Mr. Speaker, because I've done some work on that.
Very well. Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, what I read was that the reconstruction of Mpraiso Hwehwe, then Onyemso Road, 47 kilometers, and upgrading of Begro Feyasi Road. So it is a combination of projects lumped as one project. And what I'm saying is that the contractor is working on one section of the road currently, not the township route you are talking about. So he's working within the same contract, but not in the town you are referring to. But the township route are part of the same contract.
Any further question?
Right, so, Right Honourable Speaker. So I want to find out from the minister that the Begro Township Road has stalled, and that what is his ministry doing to ensure that the township road, the contractor on the township road will come back to site. Thank you, Right
Yes, Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, by our record, this project is one of the projects under the cocoa roads, and the contract sum is in excess of $77 million. And obviously, the contractor has done significant amount of work and has not been paid. As you may be aware, government have taken a decision to that says that Cocoa Board will no longer indulge in award and supervision of cocoa roads, and that official statement will be made. So these projects are now being rationalized under highways or feeder roads so that we can appropriately fund them. That is what the reason is. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honourable Member.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. I want to thank the Minister for Roads for the highlights. We are grateful.
Thank you very much, Honourable Members. This is constituency specific. Honourable Members, today we are supposed to take about 10 statements. 2 has been taken. We are left with 8, but the pleasure is yours. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, just to acknowledge that these roads are in my constituency. And the challenge is that with the 68% physical completion, I can say that, yes, the contractor has done significant work. But currently the contractor is not on site. And it's a matter that I wanted to bring to your attention. So probably maybe we may have to revisit and find out why he has refused to come on site. But I admit that talking to him, he mentions issues of payment. And probably maybe if the minister could brief
Honourable
me
Member,
on steps being taken.
Supplementary question. This
Yes.
is not a supplementary question.
Oh.
Question number 400. Standing in the name of Yes, Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, all the roads mentioned above by my colleague form part of the link Nabdam district and forms part of the regional route R158, which is from Wikongo to Nangodi. Currently, there's no activity going on within this section of road. Future program, engineering design studies and cost estimates have been carried out on the road and submitted for consideration under the 2026 budget upon availability of funds. The Tongo through Bare, Tongo Bio linking Bogatanga East District Road. Mr. Speaker, also, there is no program on this road, and similarly, engineering studies and cost estimate will be carried out on the road for consideration under the 2026 budget upon availability of funds.
Thank you very much, Honourable Member. Any supplementary?
Mr. Speaker, I thank the Minister for his quick response. I'm so grateful.
Thank you. Question number 452, standing in the name of Ralph Poku Edusei, Member of Parliament for Bekwai. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to ask the Minister for Roads and Highways what steps the ministry is taking to ensure permanent rehabilitation of the Kensri Pampaso and Dotum Koneyao roads in the Bekwai constituency. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the Kensri Pampaso feeder road is captured in the Department of Feeder Road database as Ankasi Kensri Humasi feeder road, which is a 9.4 kilometer long road. It is an inter-district road connecting the Bekwai municipality to Amansie Central District of the Ashanti region. It is an engineered gravel road in poor surface condition. Current program, the Ankasi Kensri Humasi feeder road was awarded under the contract titled Upgrade Municipality of the Ashanti region. It is an engineered gravel road in poor surface condition. Current program, this road has been awarded on contract with the title Upgrading of the Dotum Koneyao feeder road, 7 kilometers. The contract commenced on the 18th of May 2021 for completion by 17th of May 2022. The overall progress of work is 19%. The contractor is currently not on site and works have stalled. Efforts are being made to get the contractor back to site to complete the uncompleted section.
Any further question?
Precisely so, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in the answer given by the minister, clearly in both cases, the work has stalled due to delay in payment for work done. Mr. Speaker, the situation in the constituency is quite dire. I want to find out from the minister, clearly, if there are any timelines set by the ministry for the contractors to receive payments so that they can return to the site and continue.
Yes, Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I sympathize with my colleague regarding the nature of road in his constituency. The reason for the delay in payment is simply because, once again, this was also awarded under Cocoa Board. It's clearly a case of Cocoa Board awarding projects far and beyond what they are capable of funding sustainably. And obviously, as members of parliament, we know that the Cocoa Board cocoa road program has collapsed because they can't raise enough money even to buy cocoa beans, let alone pay for the works they've awarded. That is why government have taken the decision to rationalize this. So in due course, all this will be realigned and a more sustainable source of funding identified for the contractors to go back to site and complete the works. Thank you.
Any other question?
I want to find out from the minister if he can assist the House with the contract sum in these two contracts. Because, Mr. Speaker, I'm reliably informed that mobilization were paid in both cases.
Honourable member asks.
So I want to find out if
another question.
I beg your pardon, Mr. Speaker.
File specific question if you want to know the
yes,
contract
Mr.
sum.
Speaker, the question I want to ask if the minister can help the House with the contract sum in these two contracts.
Honourable member, file a specific question. Honourable member, the minister indicated that he has the answer.
Yes.
Honourable member, your question is to ask the minister for roads and highways what steps the ministry is taking to ensure permanent rehabilitation of the Kensri, and you mentioned the roads.
And in the answer,
Honourable member, based on your question, the minister will prepare an answer to give. So in a situation where the question is this, and you are now asking the minister to give you the contract sum, it offends the rules.
Mr. Speaker, if I may, in the answer given by the minister.
Yes.
Order 89 is clear. And our member prefaced his question by asking the minister if he may. As we got, yes, this minister did not speak into the microphone, but the minister clearly is willing, and it's reasonable that his follow-up is flowing from the answers of the minister. So, Speaker, may I appeal to you? May I appeal to you, especially where the minister has the answers readily available, if the minister is minded to answer that question? Because with your leave.
Honourable Member, our rules are not at the will of the minister. The rules are very clear. So it's not at the will of the minister. Do you have any further question?
We have another question for the minister. Mr. Speaker, in the answer given by the minister, clearly the issue of delays in payments is quite prominent in his answer. So I want to find out from the minister whether there are any mechanisms or there are any plans being put in place to avoid any future delays in payment so that prolonged or delays in road construction can be avoided in future. Mr. Speaker, thank you.
Yes, Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, indeed, the question by my colleague is well placed. The easiest way to avoid contractors being given contract and they work and are not being paid is if we limit and assure ourselves that we only award contracts when we can fund them. But unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, including myself, when members of parliament are under pressure to intervene in the nature of roads in their constituencies, we all forget that when we pass the budget, there's only a certain amount of money in the budget. We keep asking that contracts are awarded irrespective of what the state can fund. So it is easy to say, yes, government will be prudent in paying contractors, but the reality is, how much did we approve in the budget for the payment of contractors in any fiscal year? You will see a vast difference between what has been approved and what we have committed to in terms of road. In the last budget, maybe the the capex of the ministry, maybe around 2.53 billion. But the commitment at the ministry is over 101 billion Ghana cedi. That is not even included, that doesn't even include works done which is not being paid for, which is approaching 30 billion Ghana cedi. So really, prudence in making sure we only award what we can fund would have been the solution. But I know it's easier said than done.
Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the minister for the answers given, and I'm satisfied. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you to Honourable Member. We move to question number 473, standing in the name of Alamzi Bila Ndebila, China Paga, constituency.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to ask the hardworking, competent, and intelligent Minister for Roads and Highways.
Honourable Member, all that you have said is not part of the question. You are called upon to ask the question as captured in the order paper.
Mr. Speaker, I am trying to impress the minister to fix my roads.
Honourable member, will you ask the question or not?
Mr. Speaker, I rise to ask the Minister for Roads and Highways when the collapsed bridge on the Navio-Mayoro Road will be fixed.
Yes, Honourable Minister. Honourable member, your microphone should be off.
Mr. Speaker, indeed, I know this bridge. My simple response is that currently we do not have any active project on this. But, Mr. Speaker, we have programmed this bridge for an intervention. And shortly, my colleague would be happy to hear that we would be working on this. The Navio Bridge is a very critical bridge crossing in the country. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable member, supplementary question.
When work on the Chichuluga-Chana Road will resume and be completed? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the Chuchuliga to Chianapaga Road is a 11-kilometer road and forms part of the Navrongo, Chuchuliga, Chiana, Nakon, Sicily Road, which is a national route, N13. This road is a bituminous surface road, but in a very poor condition. Current program, this road has been captured under the Big Push program. Fortunately, Mr. Speaker, is part of the road that the President cut short for yesterday. So very soon, contractors will be back on site working. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable member, any supplementary?
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I will not be having any other question, but I wish to thank the Minister for Roads and Highways for giving us the assurance that they will soon start with our roads. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, question time is ended. We've exhausted the questions on the order paper. Honourable members, I want to thank the Minister for Roads and Highways very much for attending upon the House to respond to the questions scheduled for him. Honourable Minister, thank you very much. You are discharged. Honourable members, we move to item number 7. Though we've taken some questions earlier, statements earlier, we have about 8 statements. I want to be guided by the leadership as to the number of contributors we should take on each statement. Honourable members, we are doing so that we could give opportunity to all the makers of the statement to do so. Yes, Deputy Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as you rightly said, we have 10 statements, 2 of which have already been read. So we have 8 here, so I think quite a number of them. So if I will indulge you that we do two on each side, on each statement.
Yes, Minority Leadership.
Yes, Speaker, we are not opposed. I think it's okay for us to proceed.
Thank you very much. The ground rule is set. The first statement is standing in the name of Honorable Zuhaira Mohammed Ibrahim, Member of Parliament for Salaga South. Honourable members, the second statement standing in the name of Honorable Damata Ama Apia Apia Nima Salam, Efija Kwabre South. Honourable members, these statements are similar, and I plead with the House that we take the statements jointly. I will therefore give the floor to Honourable Zuera Mohammed Ibrahim to read the first statement.
Mr. Speaker, from the beginning, her name carried the weight of leadership and resilience. Her mother, an educator, forced by colonial law to abandon her teaching career upon marriage, ensured that young Kunedu understood both the power of education and the injustice of systems that denied women their full potential. This early lesson would become the driving force of her life's work. Mr. Speaker, it was at Achimota School where she met the late Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings, beginning a partnership that would span nearly 5 decades and reshape Ghana's political and social landscape. Together, they raised 4 children. Dr. Zanato Ajiman Rawlings, my dear friend and colleague, the Honorable Member for Korle Klote, Ya Asantua, Amina, and Kimati, each a testament to her devotion as a mother and her belief in nurturing the next generation of leaders. Mr. Speaker, when Nana Kunedu founded the 31st December Women's Movement in 1982, she did not merely create an organization, she ignited a revolution. At a time when Ghana's economy was in ruins and women's voices were systematically excluded from national development, she traveled the dusty roads of our most remote communities, sat with village chiefs, danced with townsfolk, and listened to the struggles of ordinary women. She understood instinctively what many failed to see, that without the effective mobilization of women, Ghana's largest labor force, our nation could never achieve true economic transformation. Mr. Speaker, her vision was both radical and practical. The movement established over 870 daycare centers and preschools nationwide, liberating thousands of working mothers to pursue economic opportunities while ensuring their children received quality early education. Mr. Speaker, she championed microcredit facilities, literacy programs, and small-scale enterprises, from cassava processing plants to batik making, from beekeeping to soap production, creating pathways for women to achieve economic independence and recognition as equals. Mr. Speaker, through the movement, she mobilized more than 2 million women across Ghana, transforming them from passive observers into active agents of change. She stood before traditional authorities and boldly addressed family planning and contraceptive use, defying social norms that had long kept women silent. She fought against trochocy, female genital mutilation, and child marriage, practices that had subjugated generations of women. Mr. Speaker, Nana Kunedu's influence extended far beyond the borders of Ghana. Her participation in the 1995 Fourth World Conference on Women in Beijing profoundly shaped her advocacy. There, she witnessed China's commitment to gender equality in education and returned home with renewed determination. She declared at that historic gathering that African women, and I quote, must be present where power is exercised, unquote. Mr. Speaker, her advocacy helped secure the passage of the landmark 1989 Interstate Succession Law, protecting the inheritance rights of women, widows, and children, a legislative triumph that rescued countless families from destitution. She influenced the incorporation of gender equality provisions into our 1992 Constitution. Mr. Speaker, her work contributed to policies on maternal and child health, agricultural support for women farmers, and the establishment of the National Commission on Women and Development. At the Beijing +5 conference in New York, Mr. Speaker, in the year 2000, she articulated her philosophy with characteristic clarity, and I quote, "My desire is to see the emancipation of women at every level of development to enable them to contribute and benefit from the socio-economic and political progress of the country. Women's vital role of promoting peace in the family, the country, and the world at large must be acknowledged," unquote. Mr. Speaker, she firmly believed that change began with one woman who says enough is enough, one family at a time, and continues onward from one generation to the other. Mr. Speaker, Nana Kunedu was never content to remain in anyone's shadows. In 2016, she shattered yet another glass ceiling by becoming the first woman to contest for the presidency of Ghana, a bold act that inspired generations of young women to envision themselves in positions of power. Though her National Democratic Party campaign did not succeed electorally, her candidacy itself was a victory for every girl child who dared to dream beyond prescribed boundaries. Mr. Speaker, she served as First Lady from 1979 and again from 1981 to 2001, spanning 2 decades of transformative change in our nation's history. She was elected the first vice chairperson of the NDC in 2009, demonstrating her political acumen and organizational prowess. Her 2018 memoir, I quote, "It Takes a Woman," chronicled her journey and philosophy, offering invaluable insights for future generations of activists and leaders. Mr. Speaker, as I stand here today, I think of my friend and colleague, Dr. Zenato Ajiman Rawlings, who carries forward her mother's legacy in these very halls. I think of the countless women across Ghana whose lives were fundamentally altered by Nana Kunedu's intervention. The market women running, thriving businesses, the children who attended these daycare centers, and the new professionals, the widows who retained their property rights, the girls who were spared from harmful cultural practices. But, Mr. Speaker, I also recognize that the work remains unfinished. Even as we honor her memory, we must acknowledge that by current projections, full gender equality will not be achieved until 2158. 5 generations from now, Nana Kunedu herself noted this troubling statistic in one of her public statements this past March, urging us to, and I quote, "accelerate action for gender equality," unquote. Mr. Speaker, her legacy must be a memorial we visit occasionally, but a mandate we carry forward daily. We in this House, particularly those of us privileged to serve on the Gender, Children and Social Welfare Committee, hear a special responsibility. We must ensure that more women occupy spaces of influence in government, business, civil society, and traditional leadership. Mr. Speaker, we must pass legislation that truly empowers women economically. We must invest in programs that develop the next generation of female leaders. We must challenge every stereotype, call out every discrimination, and question every bias that holds our daughters back. Mr. Speaker, Ghana has lost an irreplaceable champion. Africa has lost a pioneering advocate. But the flame she lit burns on in every woman who stands a little taller because of her work, in every child who dreams a little bigger because she proved it possible, in every policy that protects the vulnerable because she demanded it. Mr. Speaker, to Dr. Zenato, Yasentua, Amina, and Kimati, our hearts go out to you. Your mother was a national treasure who gave her life to the service of others. Her strength lives on in you. Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, I'll quote the words of Nana Kunedu herself, often used, and here she says, and I quote, Here's to strong women, may we know them, may we be them, and may we raise them, unquote. Mr. Speaker, may the soul of Her Excellency Nana Kunedu Agyeman-Rawlings rest in perfect peace, and may her legacy inspire us to complete the work she courageously began. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
It's now the turn of Honorable Member for Efija Kwabre South to also read the statement.
Thank you for support.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise with deep sorrow to make a statement on the passing of Ghana's former First Lady, Her Excellency Nana Kunedu Agyeman-Rawlings, whose death has brought a grief to our nation. Mr. Speaker, this loss is particularly personal to me and the good people of Efija Kwabre South. The late Nana Kunedu Agyeman-Rawlings hailed from Impobi, one of the proud and historic towns in my constituency. She had a great working relationship with the Queen Mothers in the constituency. Therefore, we mourn not only a national icon, but also a beloved daughter of our land, whose life brought honor and recognition to the constituents. Mr. Speaker, the late Nana Kunedu Agyeman-Rawlings was a woman of great courage, intellect, and conviction. As the wife of the former President Jerry John Rawlings, she served Ghana with exceptional dignity and distinction. Her life was one of service to her family, her country, and especially to women and children across this nation. Through her visionary leadership of the 31st December Women's Movement, she spearheaded programs that transformed the lives of countless Ghanaian women by promoting education, entrepreneurship, and community development. Her commitment to gender equality and empowerment opened new pathways for women's participation in national life. Mr. Speaker, in her hometown in Impobi, her love and commitment were felt in tangible ways. She championed the provision of health centers, educational facilities, access to electricity and water for the community, projects that continue to serve the people to this day. These interventions brought hope, improved livelihoods, and enhanced access to essential services, leaving an enduring mark on the lives of her people. Mr. Speaker, beyond her humanitarian works, the late Nana Kunedu Agyeman-Rawlings, who draws her royal lineage in Impobi, stood tall as a bold political leader, principled, fearless, and deeply passionate about social justice and national progress. She inspired generations of Ghanaian women, including many of us who today have the privilege to serve in public office. On behalf of the chiefs, Queen Mothers, and people of Efija Kwabre constituency, and in particular the people of Impobi, I extend heartfelt condolences to the children, the entire family, and the countless Ghanaians whose lives she touched. We have lost a true patriot, a pioneer, and a daughter whose legacy will endure for generations. May her gentle soul rest in peace, and may the Almighty God grant her eternal rest. Mr. Speaker, I thank you.
Honourable member statements are ably read, and it is now time for your comments. I give the floor to Honourable Mahama Shaibu.
Mr. Speaker, I'm exceedingly grateful to our two colleagues and the statements they've ably made. Indeed, the preamble to Honorable Zuere's statement acknowledging the deaths of innocent females was so touching, Mr. Speaker. I pray that their souls will rest in perfect peace. Mr. Speaker, the ideal of Nana Konadu Agyemang Rawlings, 3 words were used to describe her: courage, fortitude, and the last one was boldness. Indeed, she echoed it in Sunyain, and it resonated with the female folks of this country. The girl child had somebody to look up to. Many years ago, when the girl child did not have hope, she singularly started and championed a movement, of course, joined by other gallant women of this country. Today, all the hopes that the girl child has can trace to Nana Konadu. Perhaps one very important thing that we have often lost sight of, which leaves an indelible mark, a printable mark, is her push for the promulgation of the intestate succession law, PNDC Law 111. That got women out of the doldrum. Indeed, and she did it at a time this was against her own ethnic background or tribal background. That is a matrilineal inheritance heritage. And so that boldness to move against your own tradition for the sake of women and children, it's an indelible mark that ought to be remembered. Mr. Speaker, every day we say our morning prayer. We recognize the efforts of great men and women in this country. And in one of the standards in our prayer, we say, oh God, bless the efforts of those who struggle to make the vision a living reality. Each and every day we make this prayer, it is a thought that goes to the likes of Nana Konadu Agyemang Rawlings. May Allah be pleased with her soul. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank the makers of these statements. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Shaibu. Yes, Honorable Gisela Tete.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to thank the makers of the 2 statements in honor of Her Excellency Nana Konadu Agyemang Rawlings. Mr. Speaker, Nana Konadu, I got to know her as an in-law because I'm also married to her cousin. Sorry, her husband is my husband's cousin, first cousin. And so along the way, I got to appreciate her as a woman in politics, but with a lot of family values. And one thing I noticed was she had a very strong conviction about issues. And when she starts to discuss them, it doesn't matter where you stand in family, she has her points made forcefully and directly. And we all know how the kind of grassroots mobilization tendencies that she had. The 31st December Women's Movement was not an ordinary movement at that time. And to be able to lead such a group of women across the whole country with their typical red berets that they all wore around the country, and to consider all the economic activities they were able to do and empower themselves at that grassroots level. It was something very, very commendable. And it was realized that she kind of took her own path, whilst her husband also had his path of being a president, and she was a very dynamic first lady, really went down to the grassroots to get and had a feel of the local woman and what she goes through economically, socially, and culturally. I recall when she established her party, I think that the tagline was, "Be bold." And for people who knew her, it was not surprising that she had that tagline as bold, because she herself, I think, was a very bold woman. Even though she was physically small in stature, she was bold with her characteristic headgear that she took off only 5% of the time. And she was bold in her views, and she was bold in being a woman in politics, and she really led the way. She may not have been a member of parliament, a minister, a deputy, or any of those. She did hold a position in the National Party, but you could tell that at least she stood her ground as the wife of the longest-serving president in Ghana, and history, I think, will be kind to her. Mr. Speaker, she left behind 4 lovely children who, if you look at the time at which they were born and brought up, she managed to steer the affairs of her family and managed to keep her family intact. And that shows in the great comrade that we have with our colleague with our colleague Ezeneto, Honorable Ezeneto in the House. And Mr. Speaker, I just think that she was not celebrated enough as a person, as an individual. Sometimes there were some controversies, yes, it happens in politics, but all said and done, Nana Konadu has played her part in the history of this country, in the history of women in politics, and the history of the NDC party as a whole. And we wish her a restful journey to the ancestors. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Gisela Tete. Honorable members, I will give the floor to Honorable Alassane Soini. Honorable Alassane Soini, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to this beautiful statement presented by the Honorable Member of Parliament for Salaga South in honor of the late First Lady of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings. Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings is the heroine of our childhood. Some of us grew up, and our first experience of a woman with power and with authority, and one who used it as a force of change, positive change. And it inspired many in our generation to reach out to achieve more. Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings was not only a trailblazer for her generation, but through her works and her activities, she inspired the generations that followed right after hers. I recall when education was not very popular in many parts of this country, especially the rural areas. She dared to champion education even for the girl child, when even education for the boy child was not that popular. By her deeds and her acts, it became so common. And today, it is a fact that at the basic level, we tend to have more girl students than we do for boy students. It was because of this campaign that she led, with a song that many of us can still remember. Send your girl child to school, send your girl child to school. This was what we heard on the radio in the morning and in the afternoon. And that defied the traditional belief at the time that the place for the woman or the girl was in the kitchen or the market. And because of her activities and how she mobilized market women and how she mobilized women in general in the communities and took active part in the building of our communities, it became easier for parents who had girl children to dream that kind of life for their children and to give them that opportunity and to support them. And so indeed, her loss is not just one for her immediate family. Even as we condole with them, it is important that we remind them that the loss is felt by all patriotic citizens of this land, because she laid her life, used her youthful energy to help in building this country and in creating the platform that we all stand today. And so on this note, I wish to extend my heartfelt condolences to our colleague, Senator Ajiman Rawlings, for the loss, and pray that the Almighty Allah, Zanato, I'm sure she won't forgive me for not pronouncing the name well, because I've had private tutorials on how to pronounce it. Yes, my heartfelt condolences to her and her siblings. I pray that the good Lord will give her the strength and the serenity of mind that she requires to lead the family in these difficult times. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Yes, leadership. Yes, Minister for Education.
Mr. Speaker, let me thank the makers of the statement, the Honorable Zuera and our colleague, for the opportunity to pay tribute to Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings, former First Lady of the Republic of Ghana, who undoubtedly made a remarkable contribution to the social, political, and economic development of our country. Mr. Speaker, for those of us in the NDC, Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings was a critical financier of the NDC. A critical financier of the NDC. And particularly given the historical evolution of the NDC being birthed to by the PNDC, it took a lot of courage and a lot of investment to get the NDC resilient and viral as it is today. Sometimes, Mr. Speaker, when I hear our colleagues opposite, what the MPP is going through today, we probably went through worse in 2001 in this republic when we lost power in the year 2000. I still recall, Mr. Speaker, that part of it was reforming the NDC itself. And I went to pay tribute. I made this comment. I want to repeat it for the record, that sometimes when we are angry, we should manage our anger. That is one of the fundamental lessons the departure of Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings must teach us, those within the political group and the political elites of our country, to be measured in what we do. And Mr. Speaker, I say so because at the time, if you recall the NDC Congress, there was one at Trade Fair, there was one in Tamale, ran cross, because we're building a political party, people with diverse backgrounds. My first encounter, Mr. Speaker, with Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings was when I was growing up in Tamale. There was a day on the 31st December Women's Movement. She came to commission a bakery where they do bread at a home closer to my home in Tamale. And that we want to celebrate her for her contribution, extraordinary contribution to women empowerment in Ghana and Africa. She led the way. And the 31st December Women's Movement led the way. At least if for nothing, Mr. Speaker, the consciousness it created in our women to know their right and to demand their right is to her credit. Then, as I said, in the building of the NDC as a party, I was having a word with Dr. Obeda Samoa, who then was national chairman. I served under him as national youth organizer. And he reminded me of the critical role, because at the time she knew people. So she could reach out for persons to support the NDC. And then, Mr. Speaker, you know today why the NDC is strong. Because there were a group of young people, including the majority leader now, we had formed a youth forum. And we related to President Rawlings and the family that we didn't want to romanticize Rawlism or Rawlings without building structures for the NDC as a party. So we learned from the CPP lesson, a romantic Nkrumahism, but on the ground, no structures. We said no. We told President Rawlings at the time, Fifi Kwete Nusafuseni was that no, let us build a political party so that tomorrow we will make you proud. This was between 2001, 2004, very struggling days for the NDC. But today, Mr. Speaker, we have a formidable political party which is governing. So to Honorable Zuera and to our colleague Ezenata, I pray that God will give her and her siblings the fortitude to accept the loss. Is the loss of an icon of a woman. Even in our democratic journey, she played her part. Mr. Speaker, permit me to conclude by saying that given the temperament at the time of the late President Rawlings, you only can credit that strong woman and that strong voice of a sovereign personality that sobered President Rawlings, who ruled this country for a period of 19 years. Not easy. I mean, even getting Ghana transiting from a state-dominated economy to a liberalized economy, we owe it to that period. Transiting Ghana from authoritarian, autocratic regime to a democratic regime, we owe it to that period. So, Mr. Speaker, this is the woman we are celebrating, Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings. She paid her dues. She played her part in the building of our democracy, but more importantly, in the empowerment of women. And I'm sure her popular word, be bold, was to tell us that we should be courageous in standing by the truth and upholding the value of honesty. May her soul rest in perfect peace. And I do convey my profound sympathies and condolences to the family. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, based on the agreement, may we observe 1 minute silence. Honourable members, may her soul rest in perfect peace. Amen. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, I know that I've missed a very important opportunity to have contributed to this statement. Mr. Speaker, for very, very, very important reasons. But, Mr. Speaker, I will let it slide. I'm sure I'll see you in chambers and tell you why it would have been very important for me to have made a statement on this matter.
Honourable member, I've been looking at your side to see whether there is an expression of this thing. So we now move to the third statement, standing in the name of Mavis Kukwa Bisiu, Member of Parliament for Ahanta West. Honourable member, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to make a statement on the urgent need for Ghana to protect and transform its forest reserves into a well-managed ecotourism destinations that will generate sustainable revenue for the nation, create employment opportunities, and preserve our natural environment. Mr. Speaker, Ghana is richly endowed with several forest reserves that are essential to maintaining our ecological balance and driving economic growth. These include Ankasa Conservation Area, Bia National Park, Etiwa Range Forest Reserve, Tano Ofinso Forest Reserve, Subri River Forest Reserve, Shire Hills Reserve, Kakum National Park, and the Cape 3 Point Forest Reserve in Ahanta West. These forests contain unique species of floral and fauna, beautiful rivers, waterfalls, and scenic landscapes that could make Ghana a leading ecotourism destination in West Africa if properly developed. Mr. Speaker, despite their vast potential, many of these forest reserves are being destroyed at an alarming rate. Illegal mining, sand winning, logging, and encroachment for residential and commercial purposes continue to deplete our forest cover. These destructions not only threaten biodiversity, but also deprives the nation of valuable sources of revenue, employment, and long-term environmental stability. Out of the 288 forest reserves, enforcement alone is not enough. There must be a sustainable economic alternative that motivates communities to protect the forest rather than destroy it, and in some cases converted into mining concessions and residential settlements. Mr. Speaker, government continues to fight against illegal mining and logging. However, if our forest reserves remain under protection without being turned into productive economic assets, these illegal activities will not stop. Authorities frequently enter the forest to arrest offenders, yet others return the next day to continue the same practices. This is because many people living in communities around forest reserves have no alternative livelihoods. For most of them, illegal mining and logging have become their only source of income. Mr. Speaker, transforming forest reserves into ecotourism destinations will be a lasting and sustainable solution to this challenge. Ecotourism will create decent and reliable jobs, empower local people economically, and give them a sense of ownership and responsibility toward protecting the forest. When communities benefit directly from tourism-related activities such as guiding, hospitality, craft sales, and local transport, they will no longer engage in illegal mining or logging. This approach will reduce pressure on our forests, promote conservation, and stimulate rural economies across Ghana. Mr. Speaker, the Cape 3 Point area is a remarkable natural wonder where a rare phenomenon locally known as the blood sky occurs during full moon evenings, painting the horizon red at sunset. This breathtaking spectacle coincides with the migrations of dolphins, whales, and other marine species that frequent the surrounding waters, making Cape 3 Point the ecological and experiential highlight of the Gulf of Guinea. Beyond its scenic beauty, the area serves as a critical marine ecosystem where natural seasonal cycles create pauses in fishing activities, allowing for the replenishment of fish stocks and the preservation of marine biodiversity, including dolphins and whales. Mr. Speaker, Cape 3 Point serves as a vital habitat for both forests and marine species. The area hosts unique birds such as rock pigeon, red-eyed dove, western plantain eater, and the endemic Ahanta spearfowl, as well as important mammals including the lesser spot-nosed monkey, white-napped mangabe, and bottle-nosed dolphin. Together with whales and other marine life, these species make Cape 3 Point an ecological treasure that highlights the urgent need for its protection and development into a sustainable ecotourism destination for national revenue and biodiversity conservation. Mr. Speaker, Ahanta West is not only blessed with Cape 3 Point Forest Reserve, the municipality has other attractive tourism resources, including 2 crocodile ponds at Princess Aketechi and Ejamra, a waterfall at Ezile, popularly known as Akweda, 4 historical forts in Butre, Discove, Akweda, and Princess Town, picturesque beaches, and the Cape 3 Point Lighthouse. Where these natural and cultural sites are properly developed, they can generate substantial revenue for the government, create employment, boost local businesses, and make Ahanta West a major tourism hub in the Western region. Mr. Speaker, in light of the immense ecological, cultural, and economic potential of the Cape 3 Point Forest area, I wish to make the following appeals to government for consideration and immediate action. Leverage the black sky phenomenon at Cape 3 Point to develop a sustainable, world-class ecotourism experience that attracts both local and international visitors. Transform the Cape 3 Point Forest Reserve into a tourism eco-park to serve as a model for sustainable tourism, combining forest conservation with recreational, educational, and research opportunities that create jobs and boost the local economy. Integrate ecotourism with the Blue Harvest Fisheries Initiative to promote sustainable fishing, protect marine biodiversity, and support the livelihoods of coastal communities. Position Ahanta West Municipality as a high-value destination for international tourists, environmental researchers, and conservationists by improving infrastructure, marketing, and conservation management. Promote community participation and benefit sharing to ensure local residents gain direct employment and income from tourism, thereby reducing their independence on illegal mining and logging. Encourage public-private partnerships to attract investment into eco-lodges, research centers, and cultural tourism projects within Cape 3 Point and its surrounding communities. Support marine forest conservation education programs to raise awareness of the importance of protecting biodiversity while promoting sustainable livelihoods. Include Cape 3 Points in Ghana's National Tourism and Conservation Master Plan to ensure long-term government commitment, funding, and effective environmental management. Mr. Speaker, our forests are not just trees. They are living ecosystems that sustain our water resources, regulate our climate, and provide countless economic opportunities. If managed wisely, they can drive Ghana's economic growth, create jobs, and enhance our global reputation as sustainable tourism destination. These and many more advantages are the reasons why we must collectively answer the call to transform and protect our forests reserves into a well-managed ecotourism destinations that will generate revenues and create jobs and preserve our natural forest. Ainda, Oloboy, Yoko Yenyulu, Elisa Yamada, Chi. To it, this time, Ahanta moves forward, unstoppable, united, no return. Mr. Speaker, I respectfully so submit, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, honorable members, for your contribution. Yes, honorable former.
Thank you
Minister.
very much, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, I also extend greetings to Honorable Kukua Bisu. Mr. Speaker, the topic on making our forest ecotourism is key to national development. Mr. Speaker, if you take the country Ghana and you locate all the mines in this country, from Newmont, Anglo-Gold Ashanti, Obuasi, Angogo, Ashanti, Idiaprim, Damai, and the rest, you realize that virtually all of them are in the forest or next to a forest. Mr. Speaker, when you take Newmont, Newmont is in the Afri-Sipum Chrome Forest. If you take Newmont at Chempim, it is also in the Bipo Forest in Achim. If you take Anglo-Good Ashanti in Obuasi, it's in the Obuasi Forest. And when you take Idiaprim is in the New Forest in Takwa. So clearly, you realize that all the miners, both large-scale and illegal miners, know that all the forest belts we have in this country are forest zones. So the question you ask yourself, how did we do this to ourselves? That we built plantations and forest reserves in the mines or above the mines. I believe that this is one area that we need to critically look and see how best we can make sure that in our next set of activities, we'll build these forest reserves outside mining zones or areas that are not endowed with mineral resources so that we can reduce the menace or the potential attempt of people getting into these forests to destroy them and get access to this mineral wealth of this country. And I believe that one way we can do so is to make sure that we take advantage of the carbon credit system that is coming up in the world. Mr. Speaker, Ghana is estimated to have a potential revenue generation pattern of about 6.5 billion from carbon credit for our forests, which clearly means that for every forest we have in the country, over the 283 forest reserves that we have, each of them can be earning a minimum of about $4.7 million every year. Clearly, this means that the communities around these forest zones can partner with government and be part owner of these forest reserves. And then we can use some of these monies. And I believe that at least half of that money given to these communities as salaries for equipment and also to equip them to protect these forests. Because if these illegal miners are destroying these forests by using hard equipment, we should be able to train our own community members and equip them to face them. Because then we know that the monies we'll be getting from the carbon credit, we'll be using some to support these communities to grow and to develop and give opportunities to the people around these areas. Mr. Speaker, I also do believe that the time has come that this country take a hard look at the issue of the issuance of licenses to miners. In fact, it is time we move away from this centralized system and to move to a more peer-reviewed system of districts so that we are sure that we can equip the district assemblies, the district mining communities, one, for issuing the license and also making sure that they can control the miners that illegally go into these forests. And where the forests have been destroyed, they should be able to reclaim them and replant them anew at the district level. We should not be awarding these contracts from Accra because consistently we've seen that anytime we make such an attempt, the money does not go down and we all see these forests being destroyed. Mr. Speaker, it is possible that we can reclaim all these forests that have been destroyed. According to the World Economic Forum, when you invest $1 into forest reclamation and replanting, you get a minimum of $7 all the way up to about $30. So clearly, if government take a decision that we want to invest in the reclamation and replanting of these forests, Ghana in the long run is going to be making profits. And these profits can be plowed back to these communities to support these communities, to protect these forests, and to make sure that we can get all the biodiversity we need for our pharmaceuticals, our agriculture, and then for other benefits that we are looking for, especially carbon capture that are needed by the plant itself and also climate change issues as well. So, Mr. Speaker, I do believe that we need to be more strategic, more firm, to make sure that we take the bull by the horn and invest in these communities so that the communities can protect our forests going forward. Mr. Speaker, I'm so happy that when the maker was making the statement, he found a way to weave the story of Ahanta West into the statement. I believe that she has done so well to tell us all the potential in the Ahanta West area. But furthermore, I do believe that in creating and making these forest zones into ecotourism centers, there are so many things that we need to be looking at, both tangible and the intangibles. Mr. Speaker, for the special case of the hunters, Mr. Speaker, like we all know, like their own blood brothers, the Ashantis and the Wases, these are very hospitable people that can always manage people, make sure people live within their midst, and then also, Mr. Speaker, I'll finish very soon. Mr. Speaker, I'll finish very soon. And the area is very attractive.
Honourable Member,
for tourism.
it's not that you will finish very soon. The rules stipulate a time period within which a member is to comment on a statement. So where the rules are deliberately being violated, I am worried. And I indicated from the beginning that we have a lot of statements. So if we can all be brief, it's better for all of us.
Okay. Mr. Speaker, I'll conclude. In concluding, I would like to use this opportunity that since we are talking about ecotourism and the forest, and the tangibles and the intangibles, I believe that we need to put into clusters some of the festivals and events that happen in the Western region and in the Ahanta West area, in particular, the Ankos, the Ahanta Fest, and the Yesu Asor, that complement the ecotourism agenda my sister was trying to set for the Ahanta West. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to be a part of the statement.
Yes, Honourable Minister for Employment.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I would like to also thank the maker of the statements, Honourable Mavis Kokwa, for such a wonderful statement. From the statement, it shows that she is very, very committed to seeing a clean and purified forest, which has been of use to Ghana since our independence. Mr. Speaker, Ghana is rich for several reasons, but for the most important reason is because we have a forest. Our cocoa is produced from the forest, our timber is produced from the forest, our farming is in forest. It has huge potential for Ghana and has created a lot of job opportunities for the country. And Mr. Speaker, we've kept a good forest throughout our life from independence until Galamsey and small-scale mining came into being. And since then, it has been a question of whether we can maintain the 288 forest reserves we have in this country or not. Mr. Speaker, out of this number, so much of it has gone waste already and is being reclaimed with a lot of difficulty. And it tells a long story about ourselves. Either we want to sustain our economic development, or we want to go back to a situation of poverty and want. Mr. Speaker, it is very clear that the preservation of the forest must be a responsibility for every Ghanaian, not just any government that comes into being. Of course, government supervision is critical, but the overall need for the forest to remain a forest must be to every Ghanaian. And I just hope that this statement that is made should not just be a statement on the floor of Parliament. It should trigger off a committed resolve for us to take back our forests. Yesterday, I was speaking to one of the officers of our water company, and he was having a lamentation that in many of the places now, it is difficult to purify the water. It's so contaminated and people are going without water. It's a shame that at this stage of our life, we can still allow such a thing to happen. So as she was reading her statement, my mind went back to all the things that are happening to our forests, and we are so much condescending to it. And let me just thank the Ministry of Lands and Forestry for the commitment shown now by importing, by constructing ways to reclaim part of our forests. I understand about 1,000 acres, 1,000 hectares of our forest reserve is now being reclaimed, and more to it. Several of it, about 32 hectares of the forest will be reclaimed very soon. 32,000 hectares of the forest will be reclaimed very soon. Mr. Speaker, this is a commitment we all have to put our heads together to support. I also heard people talking about the need for us to have, to declare a state of emergency because of the widespread destruction of our forests. Mr. Speaker, it has never been the promise of anybody to do so. But because people are so anxious about it, we are working to the letter itself to make sure a lot is done. And I can tell you that the number of people who were in the forest and destroying it, lots of them have been arrested, many have been sacked, and those who have moved into the sea, the rivers, and are also washing the gold in it and destroying it, are also being tackled. But we need to do more. There are those who are even asking that because the life of Ghana is directly linked to the forest, military people should go and then, destroy the forest, destroy the people who are doing so, the equipment they are using and all that, and then to shoot at them. Mr. Speaker, even though it is not admirable, it's not advisable to do so, it tells of the critical need for us to take strong actions to preserve our forests. And Mr. Speaker, the statement brings it out very clearly that we don't have to sit down and wait until a total destruction occurs. And I want to support her prescriptions to it and the subsequent speakers who have called for immediate action and strong action to make sure we preserve our forests. We need our lands, we need the forest, and I agree with her. The forest is not just about trees. It's about a whole ecosystem. It's about a preservation of life. If the forest, in the forest, the last tree dies, as Gandhi said, the last man dies. So this is a warning to us. And I believe that with a combination of the climate change occurring and those of us who don't care also contributing to it, policy must take the next step to make sure a comprehensive attempt is made to save our forests. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. Yes, Honorable Member for Nsauma Drudgery.
Speaker, bearing in mind the rules, and I know how critical you have been this afternoon, so I intend to be brief. Let me start off by commending our colleague from the Hunter area who has set the tone for this consciousness of our forests as a huge resource which is in dormant stage and needs us as a nation to exploit. Speaker, it's interesting. It's an interesting fact that about more than 90% of the forest reserve we have in this country have minerals. They have the minerals. And I'm reliably informed that one of our colonial masters handed this to us. It's quite ironical. The minerals are found in the forest. To do or not to do. So as a nation, we have come to a point where we have to decide. Do we have to find an alternative? Go and exploit the forest that has the minerals and build alternative forests? That is a begging question that is being haunting every government now and then. And as a nation, we need to come to terms and be practical. That is what it is. It is not true that governments that have come and gone have been issuing licenses, small-scale licenses for people to mine in the forest reserve. It's not true. That is not true. The activities that have been going on there is total illegality. They don't have the blessings of authorities. I can tell you now, government is not doing it. Previous government did not do it. But the minerals, the trust of the matter is that the minerals are found at where the forest is. And for me, that is the crux of the matter. But beyond that, Speaker, ever since we signed on to, you want to take me a point of order? Well, catch the eye of the Speaker. Speaker, ever since we signed the UNFCCCs globally, the dynamics and the narrative have changed. So the industrialized world are eager to exchange with us as a developing countries, developing parts of the world. Now, the current narrative is the carbon trade. The carbon credit and the carbon trade. Ghana, as a developing country, is positioned last year, out of the carbon trade alone, Ghana raked in over 2 billion from Switzerland. Low-hanging fruit. I know there is another exchange with South Korea, and there is a potential of another over 2 billion that will rake in. Why? Just for the protection of our forests. So the mere protection of your forests, inclusive of flora and fauna, will rake in billions of dollars without any effort. That, for me, is the call of our colleague, and all of us should be revolving around this call. So the forest, just like the ocean, is a huge resource. It's a huge resource, and something must be done about it. China is reclaiming the desert. Nothing under the sun is impossible. China, repeatedly being said, oh, they are polluting with all the energies they are indulging in. China is reclaiming their desert. It's high time climate justice and the polluter pay principle, which has been accepted globally, forms part of the trust of the narrative. Otherwise, we are just joking. We'll just be talking and moving in circles. A hunter region, who doesn't know about it? There's a huge potential in terms of forest. But go there now and see. The destruction with impunity, you can't describe it. So, I think we can talk on and on. Let me conclude on the relevance of the NCC, the National Commission for Civic Education. When we were young and we were growing, young pioneers were growing up, there are programs on national television, apart from our civic responsibilities. Yes. What is that? Listen to me.
You are not to answer any question.
Yes, Speaker, thank you for protecting me. Speaker, they are just envious of me. So, NCC, and you find programs dedicated on national television. We are told how to protect, apart from our civic responsibility, protection of the environment, protection of flora and fauna. What's part of our civic responsibility? Today, these things don't exist anymore. And Speaker, in conclusion, I see you are eager to tell me to conclude. These are the things we should be speaking to as a nation. And for me, that is what will make the difference. Beyond that, it will just be long and winding speeches which will not go to affect the core of the problem at hand. But let me commend the maker of the statement and probably, Speaker, request of you so that copies are forwarded to the relevant ministry. They are cross-cutting issues. The Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, the Ministry of Environment, copies are forwarded to them for them to take it in good stride and see how they can change the narrative. Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Yes, leaders, are you yielding? Yes, Honorable Sohini.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity to contribute to the statement. Mr. Speaker, I don't intend to belabor the point. I think that all the relevant issues related to the forests and the need for us to preserve it have already been made, and I therefore wish to commend the maker of the statement. I also, to a very large extent, agree with the contributions that have come forth from members, except that, Mr. Speaker, I just wish to caution that there is a particular narrative out there that is not born out of fact. And when it is presented as though it was a fact, it sends misleading signals. Mr. Speaker, I've heard it being peddled by people in authority that our forest reserves sit on gold mines and that our colonial masters deliberately planted these forest reserves around gold mines. Mr. Speaker, I am yet to find a single evidence of that from any formal or responsible institution. It remains, as we say in Tamale, rumors. And when you find people in responsible positions repeating that narrative, it serves as encouragement, in my view, to people who are environmental terrorists out there, because they make it a justification that, look, our forest reserves were deliberately planted at gold mine sites. So let's go and mine the gold and perhaps determine new areas to cultivate new forest reserves. Mr. Speaker, I will want us to hasten slowly in repeating such commentary publicly, especially on formal platforms, until we have evidence to back that claim. I just wanted to, make this contribution to correct that impression. Apart from that, I agree with almost all the contributions that have been made, and I share in the appeal to you to probably make copies of the statement available to some of the relevant ministries for study and action where it is necessary. I thank you very much for the opportunity, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, by the agreement, we've come to the end of comment for this statement, and accordingly, I will direct the table office to make copies of the statement available to the Ministry of Environment as well as Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. We move to another statement standing in the name of Honorable Chinibo Akodia Foko Manso Nkwanta. Honorable, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, labor unrest remains one of the most persistent socio-economic challenges in Ghana, especially within the public sector. Over the years, various categories of workers, including teachers, nurses, doctors, have resorted to strikes and demonstrations to express their dissatisfaction with working conditions, remuneration, and policy implementation. While labor agitation is not unique to Ghana, its recurrence and impact on national productivity demand urgent and proactive solutions. Mr. Speaker, rather than waiting for industrial action to escalate into full-blown strikes or threats to national stability, authorities must embrace a preventive approach that addresses the root causes of these unrests. A proactive stance involves anticipating workers' concerns, strengthening communication, fulfilling obligations, involving stakeholders in policy making, and investing in institutional reforms that build mutual trust between the state and its workforce. One of the most recurring grievances among workers is the delay in salary negotiations, arrears, and unfulfilled allowances. Public sector workers, particularly those in essential services like health and education, often feel undervalued to remuneration structures that do not reflect the rising cost of living. Mr. Speaker, many public workers operate in difficult environments with inadequate resources, outdated equipment, and unsafe facilities. For instance, healthcare workers in rural areas frequently lack basic tools, and teachers are forced to operate in overcrowded and poorly maintained classrooms. Labor unions mostly feel they are not involved in policy decisions that affect their welfare. This creates a sense of exclusion and builds resentment. Mr. Speaker, pledges to improve conditions of service are often made but not implemented, leading to mistrust and agitation. The delay in addressing complaints through formal institutions like the National Labor Commission leads many workers to believe that strikes are the only way to be heard. Mr. Speaker, in ensuring harmonious labor relations, being proactive is key. This means taking deliberate steps to prevent a problem from occurring. This involves constant engagement, transparent communication, and a commitment to fairness and justice in the treatment of workers. The reactive approach, where there are interventions after workers have gone on strike, is costly and damaging. Strikes in essential services such as healthcare or utilities can result in loss of lives, disrupted economic activity, and social instability. A proactive approach ensures that workers' issues are addressed before they become unbearable. Trust is built between the government and employees, service delivery to the public is not disrupted, and Ghana's reputation as a stable investment destination is preserved. Mr. Speaker, to adopt a proactive approach, there must be mechanisms developed that continuously monitor and assess worker satisfaction and act early on emerging issues. The role of the National Labor Commission should be enhanced through proper funding, independence, and authority to make binding decisions. A stronger commission can swiftly mediate disputes and prevent strike from happening. Government must also have dedicated labor relations unions trained in dispute resolution and employee engagement. Mr. Speaker, the government must prioritize the timely payment of salaries and allowances and engage unions during the formulation of policies that affect workers, establish consultative forums between the government and key labor unions that will promote trust and mutual understanding. Addressing the physical and logistical challenges faced by workers is essential. This includes renovating schools, supplying health facilities with adequate equipment, and ensuring access to safety tools
for security personnel. Investing in the work environment is a sign of respect for workers and enhances productivity. Again, an early warning system could be developed that monitors signs of labor dissatisfaction through regular surveys, media monitoring, and feedback platforms. This allows authorities to identify early signals of discontent and act quickly before issues escalate. Mr. Speaker, communication is key. Workers are more likely to become agitated when they feel ignored or misinformed. Being proactive will ensure open, honest, and timely communication between state agencies and workers. Responsible institutions should regularly update the public and labor groups on progress made towards fulfilling agreements, and leaders must avoid overpromising and under-delivering. Credibility is key to maintaining peace. Mr. Speaker, additionally, transparency in resource allocation helps workers to understand the challenges the government may be facing. If workers see that their concerns are being addressed within the limits of national resources, they may become more patient and cooperative. As a way forward, labor unrest poses a major threat to economic progress, social harmony, and public well-being. However, solution lies not only in responding to strikes when they occur, but in putting systems in place that anticipate, prevent such disruptions. Ghana must shift from a reactive to a proactive labor engagement strategy, which involves strengthening institutional capacity, paying salaries and benefits on time, improving infrastructure and work conditions, and engaging labor unions in decision-making. If these measures are consistently applied, Ghana would not only reduce the frequency of its strikes, but also build a more motivated and productive workforce. Proactive labor management is not just a governance strategy, it is a national imperative. The earlier these are acted upon, the better for its citizens and the future of the country. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Yes, Honorable Minister for Employment and Jobs.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me thank the maker of the statement. But he just called me. Let me thank...
You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let me thank the maker of the statement for such a statement directly affecting the labor force in Ghana. Mr. Speaker, the government under my leadership has shown enough commitment to make sure labor and the concerns and their concerns are directly addressed at each time they present issues that have a direct influence in whether they can work or not. We are aware that a successful economy depends on a motivated labor force. And at any point in time, we notify the labor force that we are concerned about them and we are working towards them. The issues he has expressed directly touch on the policies I am embarking on right now. Mr. Speaker, we are committed in doing one very important thing. Having worked there at the ministry for a while, I noticed that there had always been a long gap between government and labor. And so a key policy initiative I have is to make sure before the end of the year, labor and government will have a kind of a seminar or a conference. The economy defines whether labor is going to be supported in what they demand for or not. And so it is important that we keep them informed about the nature of the economy at every point in time. The idea of staying on until the end of the year when negotiations are made between labor and government, or in the tripartite committee, when employers, government, and the labor itself begin to talk about base salary and minimum wage, is no longer an admirable thing I want to continue. We think that at least in every half a year, we should have a seminar to respond to the challenge he's talking about, that there must be some kind of relation between the two, or between labor and employers and government, so we can always come to a certain conclusion in how we tackle issues. Mr. Speaker, at the moment, what we are doing is to say that at any point in time, labor has concern about their about allowances, arrears, and other conditions of service. We won't let it drag until they begin to go on strike. We have put in place, along with the finance minister, we have put in place systems by which we can tackle these issues before we hear them saying we want to go on strike. If you want to set reset this country, it is important that labor is consistently taken care of, and labor understands the kind of economy we run, and labor understands the kind of leadership we have. And these are critical issues for us. And so for the public to get to understand, our commitment is that we will work with labor in their conditions of service at any point in time, long before they begin to show anger. We will also make sure we have relations in terms of organizing seminars for them to understand the economy and the policies of government, to put them on in response to the make of the statement saying it is important for us to make sure we put them in shape in understanding the kind of policies government runs. These are very, very important issues that he raised, and I would like to commend him for that, and also assure labor that the commitment we spell to them at the end of the negotiation, the present negotiation of baseline and minimum salaries, are going to work, and we promise to do so. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Dr. Kabiru from the leadership.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, first and foremost, I would like to commend Honorable Fokua for this statement. Mr. Speaker, this statement is coming timely, especially so when government has just concluded the base pay negotiation with public sector workers. And to bring our attention to this matter means that after this event, we may have to look at how do we address sustainably the concern of workers. Mr. Speaker, workers or labor unrest is a source of worry, and not just in Ghana, across the world. Whenever we have labor unrest, productivity is grounded. And once productivity is grounded, it means that other sectors of the economy is equally affected. In fact, it can actually, a day of unrest can cost a country several millions of Ghana cedis. And that is a situation we don't want to counter. Mr. Speaker, makers of the statement has brought our attention to one key issue. The issue is that we need to have a proactive labor response system. A response system that is anchored on transparent remuneration structure for workers. That is the government of the call and the appeal made by the respected colleague on this particular statement. Mr. Speaker, factor productivity, in other words, the productivity of labor as a factor of production, is anchored on incentive. That is one cardinal determinant of whether or not your workers are going to give you value. And even if you look at Parliament, the ability for your staff to give you the results depends on the remuneration structure that they are enjoying. And if we want to be a country that put premium on outcome or on result or output, we must look at how we take care of our workers, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, apart from remuneration, they also look at their pension scheme. What is the security for me after I have served my country diligently after some time? Without a good pension scheme for workers, they would also be, at all times, be agitated. If I look at my salary and my salary is not anything to go home about, and I look at my future, and my future is bleak, Mr. Speaker, I will have every reason to always be agitating against the authority of gay government or against my employers. And that is another. The last thing, Mr. Speaker, is also to look at other incentive schemes that aside pension, aside salary, whether there are other allowances. For instance, what explains a worker after working for the country or employer for 30 years will be thrown out of the house by the landlord? That is something that, again, many workers don't want to hear. So labor unrest are a factor of of some of these reasons I've mentioned, and we need to look at. Mr. President, the problem then is what? We don't have a predictable scheme for the determination of the conditions of service of workers. There's no predictability whatsoever. Mr. Speaker, why would a worker end the year without knowing how much I'm expected to get the following year? There must be some predictability in the manner we adjust salary of workers in a way that they will be able to even plan for their lives. Mr. Speaker, it won't take the National Tripartite Committee to determine how much workers will take. Mr. Speaker, this negotiation will go on for only 1 week. In a week, you will determine the fate of workers. That is not something we should countenance or we should tolerate in this particular country, because after all said and done, we know that salary will have to be increased or will have to be reduced depending on the conditions in the country. If that is the understanding, why can't you have a predictable scheme? A scheme that every worker would know that based on the movement of the economy, this is what we should expect reasonably. Mr. Speaker, there is also the problem of disparity. Mr. Speaker, it is scandalizing to know that some members or some employers of the state of Ghana are taking 100 times of what other workers are taking. We introduced the single span pay structure to address a problem, Mr. Speaker, but I'm sorry to put that system or that scheme has not been able to address the problem we have as a country, because there are still huge disparities in terms of salaries, in terms of benefits between workers who are both serving at the same place or who are both serving the same employer, that is the state of Ghana. And if there are huge disparities, Mr. Speaker, there are reasons why some organized labor will have issues to complain. Mr. Speaker, we will need to look at how do we review, and this is a challenge to the minister responsible for labor, jobs, and employment, whether or not we can look at a revision of the single span pay policy to bring harmony between the various workers so that public workers of different backgrounds are able to get at least equal pay for work of equal value in the line of international labor organization requirement. Mr. Speaker, with these few words, I want to thank the maker of the statement for bringing our attention to this matter, and we urge the minister responsible for labor to ensure that we do everything to avert labor unrest in the country. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Member. Yes, Majority Leader, any indication?
Mr. Speaker, we will have an early day tomorrow and then a long one. So if we can adjourn now.
Well, the indication is that we take adjournment. Yes?
Yeah, Speaker, we had an earlier agreement, but I should be agreeing with the Majority Leader because of the events we have scheduled for tomorrow. So we should adjourn.
Yes, Honourable Majority Leader, in view of the fact that we are so close to 5 hours, but we have not done beyond 5 hours, let's do the needful.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we adjourn till tomorrow, 12 noon.
Motion move for adjournment. Any seconder?
Speaker, I rise to second the motion.
Honourable members, motion move for adjournment is seconded. This is for the consideration of the House. Honourable members, the question is as many as are in favor of the adjournment say aye. Those against say no. Honourable members, the ayes have it. The House is accordingly adjourned till Thursday, the 13th day of November 2025 at 12 o'clock. Honourable members, thank you very much.